Welcome to DAX Machina, with your hosts, Naoma Finn, Steve Wildman Munrotis, and D.A. Roberts. Join us as we explore writing, books, authors, and all things horror. We will delve into the sightings, reports, encounters, and tales of monsters. We will also explore the writings of D.A. Roberts along with others in the horror genre. We will investigate the possibilities that monsters may not be safely locked away in the pages of books. They might just walk among us even now. Grab some popcorn and lock the doors. It's going to be a creepy journey. Welcome to DAX Machina.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to this edition of DAX Machina. Joining me is my usual suspect, Steve Wildman Munrotis, my partner in crime. Pocket Doc is back with us tonight, hopefully with better internet. And joining us in the studio tonight are the guys from Equinox Comics. We've got Johnny Johnson and Aaron. Am I pronouncing your last name right? Ballinger?
Perfect.
All right, there we go. And we're going to be talking comic books and introducing you to some of their titles. And it's going to be a good show tonight, folks. I hope you guys are excited and have plenty of questions. Johnny, Aaron, why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about Equinox?
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go first since I got all this going. I'm Johnny Johnson. I'm an artist and a creator. I got with Equinox probably back in 2007, maybe, at MySpace. But I've been doing comics for a long time. I've been doing since 95, 92, somewhere around there. I started off going with a small company out of Kansas City, and I was drawing comic books for them. And then been doing it for a little while with them. Then back in the 2000s, 2007 on MySpace, this guy over here, he found me and got hooked up with him, and he got Equinox going, and so I've been rolling with Equinox for a long time. So why don't you tell them what Equinox is and who you are? And
I was just going to say, I try to make sure Johnny was in my top 8 spaces on MySpace. I just want to make sure that,
Talking about MySpace really dates all of us.
Yes.
I still have that account, by the way. No, I'm Aaron Ballinger. I co-created the company with my friend Tim. We grew up in a little small town here in Sapulpa. I mean, in the Tulsa area here in Oklahoma, and got into comics around 5th grade. So it was just kind of cool, and just really kind of stayed with it. And I was either going to be a comic book guy or a rock star. So I didn't know which, I should pick on that. I tried the rock star thing. It didn't really work out. But once my old band, we disbanded, I started doing the comic book thing. And like I said, we found them on MySpace. And Equinox Comics, the original title came from my friend Tim. But Equinox Comics is the way we kind of describe how we come up with the name is, there's so there's 2 equinoxes. There's the vernal and the autumnal equinox, where you have the same amount of daylight as there is darkness, or we'd like to put it, good versus evil, light versus dark, type thing. And so there's always that battle of controlling the light and the darkness. So we kind of threw that together like that. But Tim and I had created a lot of characters growing up. And again, like I said, I found him on MySpace. I found a few other people on MySpace locally. And I invited a lot of them out and said, come on out and check out our stuff, see what you think. And they just kind of took some of our characters and kind of went with it. And Tommy, the writer for Chronicles of Rachel Strand, connected with Johnny, and they started writing that book. And it's just blown up from there, of course. But Equinox is we've been around. Our first book we put out in 2010, and we're still going. So a lot of little companies don't do that, but we are still hanging around. But that's basically how Equinox got started.
That's awesome. I first ran across you guys at RubleCon here in Springfield.
Yes.
Back, I think it was 2012.
Yes.
I've still got those issues I got from you guys. Great comics.
We gave you issues. I'm sorry. I mean, I thought. No problem.
Well, I had plenty to begin with. Don't worry.
Right.
So, which was your first title?
Equinox. The title was called Equinox. What we decided to do with that was just simply introduce a lot of our characters to show that we had more than just one or two characters in our little, what we call our Equiverse, our universe. We call it the Equiverse. And we have more than just one or two characters. So the book Equinox introduces a lot of our characters right off the bat. So the first part of it's a chapter that introduces Eben and some other characters in there. And in the back of that book, it's a 40-page full-color book. In the back of it, about 14 pages worth, we introduced a new character, which was where we introduced Rachel Strand, who at the time was called Hellraiser because of the blades and not because she's a partier. It's just called the Hellraiser, which eventually changed the title to The Chronicles of Rachel Strand. But Johnny and Tommy did the work in that. Kent Clark did the work as far as the artwork and everything in the first chapter part of that. But those books are chapter stories in the beginning of them, and then we introduce a character in each issue in the back part of it. So Curse has been introduced, the Judge, and we'll have others eventually. But Equinox came out in 2010.
You guys already got a question from the audience. Cryptidville says, if I were to create a comic, how hard would it be to get it printed, and how much does it cost?
It's not too hard to get it printed anymore. We use a company called Kablam out of Florida. So it takes a little bit of figuring out how we had to kind of figure this out on our own. But, like Johnny's doing, for example, he's got a big pad. He drew out the artwork on a pad, or he even used the actual comic pages that you can get. You scan those in to the computer. You have someone letter it. You have it colored. You take those files, you organize them, and then you upload them to Kablam's website, and it'll tell you how much it'll cost you. So because it will vary, but it'll actually calculate it for you. So I'm trying to think. You could do anywhere from one book to 1,000 books. I mean, or more, depending on what you need to print. So it can vary, and it gives you a lot of details on how to do that. But we've reprinted 300 books our first time out, and I'm trying to remember. That was a long time ago. I don't remember exactly how much that was, but it was a few $100s. I mean, it wasn't terrible.
Well, I know Amazon, where I get my books done through, they do graphic novels on Amazon now.
Oh. Kablam will print graphic novels too. That's how we go. We upload them through that, and then you can list them on Indie Planet for us. It's where you can find them there. But we need to jump over in some other places like Amazon as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of different companies that you can go through now, especially with the advent and the popularity of the internet now. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're everywhere. So, I mean, it's not hard. Doing comic books is not as hard as it was maybe back in the 90s and 80s, especially doing indie books. So, I mean, it's available for everybody if they want to try to try their luck and putting a book out and get your stories out there. So it's doable. Again, if you save your money and have good content and get everything ready and get it for their format, then you can actually do the books. And some of them you may be able to do them for pretty much for a good, not too bad of a fee. So,
and so there is software that is designed specifically for creating comics, that has a lot of preloaded templates and things like that as well. So,
yeah, that's cool. DA, your books would be some badass graphic novels, man.
I would love to see some of my books turned into graphic novels.
That would be pretty freaking rad.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I would love to see see any of my books turned into graphic novels. I think that would be awesome, because I think the real way to advertise and to grow your readership is to go across multiple media.
Right. Graphic novels. A lot of schools for the past few years have been using graphic novels in their libraries. I worked at a college here in Tulsa, and they actually had them in their library. So you could go and get a graphic novel out of their library and use it for references or whatever they're doing with it. But
wow.
So yeah.
That's really cool. Well, and like you're saying, you've got, or like you and Johnny were both saying it, you've got such a good avenue to get the word out now through the internet, through social media, things like that. You can really spread the word
sure
on your product.
you're absolutely competing all the time too. I mean, you're
Yeah.
competing with a lot of indies now, not just the big dogs, but the indies. So
I think
That's-
anymore, there's such good content among a lot of the indies. Most of what I read, books and comics anymore, are mostly indie.
mhm.
Yeah, you're able to find a lot of good content, and like Da said, there's a lot of good indie content that's unfortunately falls below the radar, but you can
Yeah.
find, I mean, great content that in the indie. If you whether you like, again, like y'all go through the horror genre, there's a lot of good horror books. There's a lot of good, just even funny comedy sort of books, and then of course the superhero genre like we do. So a lot of good stuff out there, and I just tell people to try it out. I mean, we have a lot of friends that do a lot of indie books, and they have a lot of great content, a lot of great stuff that I encourage everybody to try go check out. So
Yeah, cool.
Nice.
Of all the titles, which characters have you guys created?
That we created ourselves.
Yeah, you personally.
Well, okay. So as far as Equinox goes, a lot of the characters in that particular book was created by Tim Lackey. And then the Chronicles of Rachel Strand, that was a Tim Lackey creation. But Johnny and Tommy had taken that character and really developed her out. And they create a lot of the secondary characters in the book. They
we take credit now for being co-creators of it.
Yeah. So a lot of, I mean, all the characters though are basically Equinox creations. I mean, there are stuff, and there's about in the group right now. I mean, it varies up and down. We've got about I don't know, 15 people in our group that are writers, artists, colorists, letters, creators as well. Excuse me, but the tribe, for example, is a group that I created initially. I mean, I'm a huge Native American fan. I love the culture and everything, but I'm as Irish gets, But I created a lot of those characters. But then Eric Factor, who wrote the book, which, by the way, there's a misprint. It says Brown Al Johnson as the creator on the cover. That just get fixed. That should have been Eric Factor and Mario Williams. But Eric Factor is the writer for the tribe, and he's a research freak, and he took those characters and actually really upgraded them into what they really should be. Like, I mean, the colors were all wrong for whatever tribe it was, and he fixed that. And he actually kind of changed the names of some of the characters and really improved the book. So, I mean, he gets a lot of credit for that. So we've got, I don't know, 400 characters that we created that still have yet to be seen. I mean, so it takes a while. So, yeah, there's 7 members of the tribe right there alone.
Just looking at that cover, it reminds me of my Apex Predator series. I think that would be, if anybody that's a fan of my Apex Predator books should definitely check this out. I mean, it definitely kind of gives me that same vibe.
That's cool.
I'm going to be ordering that one when we get off the show tonight.
Yeah, that's actually one of our better sellers. The Rachel Strand books and the tribe books are really, really good at the events, and they sell well. There's a lot of plans. We can talk about that later on, but there's a lot of plans with the tribe comic that we're hoping will go further than just an actual comic, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's one of my favorite books. But
That's awesome.
well,
Are they still all in print, or can you still get all the
Yeah.
ones y'all have done?
oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
The
as an
dog
indie,
man or dog soldier looks pretty badass on the cover of that tribe
Yeah.
comic.
Yeah.
Well,
I like
so
that.
the wolf, his name is White Wolf, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
he is so he's got a human host named Hostine. Hostine is a kind of a rough and gruff, tough Native American old guy. I say old. I mean, obviously he's probably in his 40s, I would think. But that's not your traditional werewolf, though. It doesn't like contort and flex into from human to wolf. It actually trades places with the spirit world. So when the wolf is here on Earth, Hostine is in the spirit world. Spirit world's a very dangerous place to be if you're just some normal human being. I mean, Hostine does not have any superpowers there. So luckily he's tough enough. He fights to stay alive. But But then whenever Hostine is on Earth, the wolf is in the spirit world. So they just kind of trade places. But the wolf can still shift into different kinds of wolf forms. But one of the leaders of the group is Firestone. Firestone actually not only has fire powers, she's right there in the middle with the fire. She can also communicate with the spirit world. So then that way it helps keep Hostine alive while he's there. So she's kind of doing double duty on Earth and in the spirit world. Who's the really big guy in the back? That's Bison. Bison is just, super strength, super tough. Obviously he's Sioux Indian. So every tribe, there's 7 different tribes represented. I can't remember exactly which one's what tribe, but I can tell you some of them. But so Bison's in the back, and then the little one between the wolf and Firestone, the girl there, her name is Kindred. She has the ability to communicate with all types of life. I mean, she can communicate with birds, animals, plants, even the bubonic plague is not even completely eradicated, so she could actually pull that up. She's extremely powerful. Luckily, she's very chill, and she wouldn't wipe out the earth, but she's got that ability to communicate with all sorts of life. To the left of Firestone, that's to the right of us if we're looking at it, with the goggles there, that's a character named Screech Owl. She obviously can fly. She screeches. She's kind of a high-tech character. Then next to her is Straight Arrow. Straight Arrow is, think of Hawkeye or Green Arrow, but he's much better than both of them combined. He's that good. So Straight Arrow, and then the ninja-looking Indian guy right there. Which, by the way, Eric's got a funny line that he uses that Bison will use. He'll call him a ninja, but that's Ghost Spear. Ghost Spear is obviously a ninja. But he can kind of phase out of your sight. Like if he's standing right in front, he kind of phase out. But he's obviously a highly trained fighter. So that's the main members of the tribe right there.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, did I send you? I thought I sent you the page to one of the pages to their book. I don't know if you have it or not.
Is it this one?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's a page that I did, kind of give you an introduction.
Wow.
And this is actually to like what we call a Tribe Zero. This is actually the first page that actual tribe was introduced in, and if you come to any of the cons, anybody in the area, Aaron has this page out.
The big portfolio.
Yeah, my portfolio that he still haven't given back.
I gave him I bought him a brand new one.
I gave you that, but that's still mine.
Yeah, but give me the new one.
But that kind of introduced. We always have that at the shows, and kind of give people an introduce to the tribe. And I'm trying to tell him you need to print that because everybody.
We got to get it lettered. I mean, it's not in the printed form yet. It'll just be a short, but eventually we'll put that in something. It kind of showcases the beginning, kind of the vision I had, and then Eric kind of wrote it out, and Johnny, masterfully had drawn it. So.
Yeah, I love the artwork. You guys, your artwork is amazing.
Yeah, it is big time.
We've got some talented people here. I mean, it's Oklahoma is loaded with. Really everywhere. There's a lot of talent, but I was really pleasantly surprised to see how many talented artists were in just in the Tulsa area, in the general Tulsa area. So a lot of them from Johnny's hometown, believe it or not. 3 or 4 of the people in our group are from this area, and just outstanding artists and creators.
I'm going to put the website back up where everybody can find them.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to say the equinoxcomics.com. If you try to go to the website, it's not. We got to revamp that thing, so you may not even be able to get on that. If you go to the Facebook page, the Indie Planet, you can order them from there. But that's if you go to the Facebook page for Equinox, you can shop there as well. It takes you to Indie Planet. So I apologize for the confusion there.
I'll get the link on that put up real quick.
Well, and then that'll take you right to it where you got the Indie Planet, I guess. So
Sorry, trying to get that link established.
Well, you're fine.
There we go.
Yeah, hopefully that'll take it right there.
I'll post that in the chat as well.
Equinox Facebook.
Oops.
I
I was typing too fast. I'll fix that.
I'm sorry. I just grammared you.
That's all right.
And that's not even my strength.
I say DA needs all the help he can get. It's all right.
Facebook, I thought something new.
Fixed it. At least I didn't put MySpace.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're still there. I can probably answer something.
Yeah, sad to say mine still is too.
Same.
Yep.
That really dates us there.
Well, for the longest time, we had it on a banner that's set up behind us, and people was like, "What's MySpace?" I'm like, "Oh, when we created that banner, that's what was popular at the time was MySpace." So
it's like the look I get from my boys when I tell them there was no Google when I was young. They're like, "What? It's been here our whole lives." Like, yeah, but it wasn't here my whole life.
No,
Right.
Yeah, Google was the World
Library.
Book Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Or
Go to the library.
the library
Yeah.
cards,
The
file
The
cards.
library. That was our Google.
Yeah.
Card catalog. Yeah.
yeah, I have no clue. I'm actually a teacher at a Tulsa school, and I understand. I say you guys have it so easy. I mean, there's no reason why you should be getting F's on any work because that information's out there, man.
It's at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, now it just cracks me up that the students all have the Chromebooks and they use the digital the DRM textbooks, and so they don't actually have physical textbooks anymore. And I teach part-time at the nursing school, and I have 2 3-foot shelves full of books that I had to carry back and forth to class, and they carry a Chromebook. And I'm like,
And they
That's
complain.
Dude,
and they
just
complain.
that freaking PDR we used to have to carry back and forth to school, Steve. Remember
Oh
those?
my God, yes.
The physician's
Yes.
desk reference, that damn thing was like that thick and that big.
Oh
That was
yeah.
a self-defense book.
Oh, dude, yeah, it would stop a bullet, bro. It would stop a bullet. And it was like $1 million. It was like $1 million.
Oh my God. Yeah. One of my books, I've got a med surge book, and this one book was $700.
Yep.
Whoa.
And I had to carry this son of a bitch every.
I got the same
would give
damn
you
book.
It would give you some back problems. They're still using this
Yeah.
when I think they've gone up like 2 editions since my day, but
Yeah.
I always hated
Yeah.
in college that you would spend, $500 on books at the beginning of the semester, then sell them back for $85 at the end of the semester.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought
Oh,
if
yeah.
you were an economics major and you actually bought your books, you should fail the course.
well,
That's your first test.
Textbooks it's like shopping at GameStop.
You bring
Yeah.
bring in a
$500
pickup
in the
truck
book
load of
and you-
games. Oh, I'll give you $750.
Yeah, store credit.
School credit.
Fact.
Yeah. I know how expensive those are. After I left recruitment at the college, I jumped over into as a manager at the campus stores, and some of those books coming in. I mean, a lot of the nursing, obviously medical, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how in the world we could sell these. Even people are able to buy them. But my gosh, yeah, those books were expensive.
That's
Got to
'cause
take
we
out a
ate-
student loan just for the book.
Yeah. It's because we ate ramen and drank Kool-Aid while we were in nursing school.
Fruit.
Yeah.
I survived off of Lipton tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recycled that crap.
Tackle the bag, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could get about 3 cups out of a tea bag if you played it right.
Right.
Actually accurate. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no kidding. Well,
yeah, I'm going to bring up a few of those images and have you guys tell us about them. I'll start with this one.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, that's the cover of Equinox #1, the first book we put out. It's a wraparound. Sean Eddingfield also likes to go by the moniker of Monkey Wrench. Don't ask me what that means. It's Monkey Wrench, Munkey or just Y?
Key.
Yeah, Key Wrench. But Sean's another one of our fantastic artists and creators. He can do anything on paper. He can do anything on computer. Self-taught. So the character with the big E on his chest, that is not Green Lantern. I promise you. That is Eben. Eben is kind of our Superman. He's our hero's hero. He's like the best of the heroes. And in this book, he's the first part of the chapter book. He's fighting a character named Ooze. That's not Bubblegum. He's a kind of a gross character, I guess, can kind of shape shift and form or whatever.
Kind of like Clayface.
Yeah, sort of, but more. There's a lot of our characters we actually plan on. These are a lot of the ones that my friend Tim and I created when we were kids. So we're actually going to update a lot of looks of some of these characters. But he's supposed to become a little more translucent. You kind of see veiny looking stuff in him. He's going to be a little more creepier looking in the future. But his name is Ooze. In the background is Uteth, and Sean's a great artist, but sometimes he doesn't listen to your instructions. He's actually supposed to be red. He does kind of look cool in the gray, though, I have to say. But he's kind of the embodiment of evil in our Equiverse. He's actually trying to change the he's trying to make everybody evil. He's trying to encourage a lot of evilness in the world. And in the book, you don't see her on the cover, but there's a character named Hyla, who is actually the complete opposite of Uteth, and she's embodiment of all good. So there's always that battle between that good and evil. So that's Uteth in the background. And then Rachel Strand, at the time we called her Hellraiser. That is, she's half human, half vampire character. That's the character that Johnny and Tommy have really taken off and just really turned her into a very popular character for us. So anyway, that's what that is, the Equinox #1 and wraparound cover there.
It's an awesome cover.
Sean's good. Sean's just a great artist.
Really good, incredible artist.
Yeah.
How many issues of Equinox are out now?
So 3 issues of Equinox. We got issue 4. It's conceptualized, but it just like if any indie comics, it's kind of hard to get things going. People have other lives going on, But and the way Tim he writes it, so the way he kind of does it's the old Marvel style. Kent Clark was the artist for the chapter books in the Equinox books, and so I guess they kind of collaborate. So he needs to be doing the artwork based on Tim's concept, and then Tim will write it. But a lot of things slowed us down, especially last year with COVID hitting. That really slowed a lot of things down. But we're hoping to get that completed with issue number 4, introduce another character in the back of it, and then jump over to issue 5. And Eric Factor's wanting to write that, and actually he wants to write it from the villains' perspectives. So that would be kind of fun. And then it'll continue to be a 40-page book with the secondary story in the back. We'll introduce more characters that way. So Rachel Strand in issue 1, that's where we introduced her, and she became popular. Then that's where her own series eventually came out of that one. So
you had a question from the chat room. Lexicon 73-300 says, I'd be interested in hearing what reception the tribe has gotten. Any pushback from the native community?
None. They love it. Obviously
awesome.
Oklahoma, a lot of Native Americans around here. Like I said, they come by and they see something that looks native and they're like, stop and take another look. Oh man, it's cool. And I'll tell them all about it. In fact, we met one young man, which I'd like to reach out to him again. He's over in Pryor, Oklahoma, and he's Native American and he's a really good artist, but he saw that and he was just blown away. He was inspired, motivated, wanted to get back out and draw some more. And I thought, well, man, I said, if you learn how to write, like draw the books or artwork in comic book format, maybe we can see about putting you on one of these things. So he was all excited, which I need to reach out to him, but no real pushback at all.
A lot of positive responses.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's good.
And let me kind of go into this real quick. I mean, like I said, we can talk about it a little bit later on, but obviously everybody wants their characters that they've created to be in a movie, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we do have our books will be recognizing a movie that was filmed here in the Tulsa Broken Arrow area called the movie's called Possessions by a company called Paperclip Limited. The co-owner and co-founder of Paperclip Limited is Yardley Smith, also known as Lisa Simpson from The Simpsons.
I knew that name sounded familiar.
Yeah, and they've got a few. They came out in 2017. They got a few movies under their belt. Got some coming up. Well, this is a movie about a father and son traveling across the United States. I guess coming into Oklahoma, and they buy this storage facility, sight unseen, and they go there, and I guess it's haunted. But the 10-year-old son in the movie he's a big comic book fan, and the producers, when they came in to film it, they came in and they're like, oh my gosh, we didn't even secure any comic books, for this kid to read. So they Googled comics and found us on Google and contacted me and said, hey, would you be interested in them being a film? So I'm like, all right, let me check into this. And I brought a bunch of stuff and met with the producer and the producers and the director, and they loved our stuff. And in the discussion, they said, have you ever considered turning any of your IPs into a film? I'm like, yeah. So The Tribe is one that I've always kind of pushed for, because if we put that out there, it'll be the first movie that is all lead Native American superhero characters and lead Native American actors playing superheroes. So it'd be a first, and they were excited about it. So we're in the first stages of actually chatting about that. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome.
I would hope to turn it into a film.
That is awesome. Well, good luck. I hope it comes out for you guys.
Well, again, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the Native Americans here, they're like, they can't wait to see something like that. That's something they just would love to see. And we actually have a lot of local people that are actors that I'm hoping to maybe get in there and portray those characters, like Bison and Firestone and all them. So
that would be fantastic.
That's right.
Werewolf 5674 says, question. So you guys are writers and artists?
I can draw, but not like this guy. Show him. That's a doodle for him. I mean,
you've just been sketching that since the show started.
Pretty much. In fact, I haven't done it yet, but I usually check his trash can in his office, in his studio, to see if there's anything. Wait, I'm not kidding. I dumpster dive at his house.
He comes in, I tell him, Aaron, I spit in there. It doesn't matter.
I'll check it and make sure
he took last con we had. He came in. I had a Wonder Woman sketch that I just didn't like, and I just threw it. And he just went, "What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this?"
Nothing.
And I said, "Aaron, I spit in the trash can." "I don't care." And he got it out of the trash can. He does that every time he comes to my house.
I mean, one man's trash.
That's it.
The things you're not happy with, I would love to be able to draw. I can make stick figures beg to be hung on hangman.
Well, I do write. I'm not like a prolific writer. I mean, I'm more of the idea guy as well, but I mean, I'm more of the mouthpiece, I guess, kind of get it rolling. But I can write a little bit, and I've created some characters. I've got a character that I created called Rampage that I'm hoping to get drawn out at some point in time. And the fun thing about that character is it's kind of based off of my son. Now, I'm only 5'6.5". I'm 5'7" if I stretch it out. I've got a son that's 6'4". Don't know how that happened, but I do think he is a mutant. But anyway, I kind of based that personality of that character Rampage off of my son. So the name Rampage is kind of silly because he's not a rampaging character out there just destroying stuff. In the story I wrote, the news people, fake news, they said something about this rampaging character, person, and he's not even tearing things up. It's the villain that he's fighting, and so they get it wrong, and so his buddies make fun of him and start calling him Rampage. And anyway, there you go. But so I've got what I write, and then like I said, I can sketch some things out. I can probably show you something here in a second. But Johnny, I don't know if you've ever really written anything, but he's got a mind that's got. I mean, he should be writing this stuff down because the ideas that he's got's outstanding. So, but of course, obviously, like I said, he can. Oh man, he's got some great stuff. On the trips coming back from the conventions, especially the long ones, we go like Rubicon. We're on the road talking about everything. I'm like, I hope you can remember this thing because I'm driving and we're not writing this stuff down. So
you have to start recording your conversations.
We should. Yeah. And a lot of other funny sounds you might hear, on the way back from the restaurant.
My wife likes to go down to Tulsa. She always goes to the Hard Rock Casino.
Yeah.
And I'm not a gambler, but the next time we go down that way, because she always wants to spend the night because it's quite a drive, I may give you guys a shout just so we can just hang out and talk.
Yeah.
Sure. That'd be great.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. That sounds great.
So what's this one?
Okay.
I'll go. Those are actually sketch covers we do. We have sketch covers because that's been the popular thing at cons to have is you have blank covers and to draw stuff on your covers. So I told Aaron, I said, it would be a great idea to have sketch covers so we can, that's a good way to put our characters out. So we ordered some through the Blam. They do sketch covers, and those are some that I did. There's a Rachel Strand and on the right, of course. And then one on the left is our character called Amna, she's a female powerhouse. So that's hence the big biceps and arms and everything.
It's still hot.
Yes. She's our, not a She-Hulk, but she's just a humongous, powerful, super strong lady. So, so that's what that is. And, he took pictures of those. I don't know if you took pictures or I took. I don't remember who took those pictures, but
probably you.
But
those are really good. I like those.
Yeah, they are. It's like Gina Carano in comic book form.
Yeah. So we kind of Tim when she had her real bulky, and so I kind of toned her down, and I gave her more feminine features and more softer feminine features, but she still can kick a lot of butt. So.
Not just every part of the body she can kick. So
it's a great looking character. I mean, I would like to read comics based on these characters. I know probably a lot of people out there are thinking the same thing, but you guys are really, really amazingly talented. I thought that since I met Johnny back in 2012. I mean, your artwork is just intense.
Yeah, it is.
Sir. Thanks, sir.
Well, the thing is, again, like I say, you're competing with everybody, and that's one reason why I went out and found the talent, because between Tim and myself, we're decent artists, we're decent writers, but we're not to the caliber where I would be wanting to put us out there as the sole writers and artists for the comic books. I figured, if we could find some local people and bring them together, and really a lot of times, and it worked too, is like bringing a bunch of people together, you kind of use each other's ideas and creations, just kind of feed off of each other's energy and everything, and come up with some pretty neat stuff. And that's kind of what I did with the group. But again, I think that worked perfectly with Johnny and Tommy with the Rachel Strand stuff. I mean, again, she's a very popular character. So
even with me and Tommy, Tommy reached out. He reached to me the first meeting that we had with Equinox. Me and him came at the same time, and I had a couple of sketches that I had, a concept for, which was Hellraiser. And Tommy said, "Hey, would you like to do this book with me? You want to do the Hellraiser character?" And I said, "Sure." So, I mean, that was a lot of nights. We stayed up till like 6 a.m, just doing concepts and say, well, this will work. Well, no, this will work. And, I just do them a lot of concept ideas. And then we finally came to one where we both would agree with, because originally, Tim kind of had her kind of like, I don't know if anybody will remember the Bad Girl era comics where or penthouse playmate looking characters rather than actual superhero or superheroines. So, like more skimpy costumes or uniforms and everything. So we decided to tone that, still make her sexy and and put her in a decent looking suit instead of where I'm not having her half naked and she's trying to fight while trying to adjust her accoutrements. So
also hot.
Yeah, definitely hot. So that's one of the things we wanted to go with, and but we definitely wanted to make her, definitely a heroine. So So we want that more than because I mean, anybody can do that. So want to make her character more interesting than she's got a hot body. Wow, look at her, and Of course, I get accused of, well, you made her booty too big. So
Heroin's greater than hoochies.
yeah, there you go.
Well, let me add to that though. We actually have some characters too that aren't your cookie cutter girl figure. I mean, there's some that are a little more hippie than around the hips than others. Just because there are plenty of girls that aren't shaped like that, but like to cosplay and or identify with that character. So we definitely have created some. In fact, I'm working on a character right now that's a Native American superhero, or actually she'll be a villain, but she's not curvy like that. She's something that a lot of people, girls can maybe identify with and appreciate that. So yeah, we don't like to just come out that way. Just real quick, I was going to show you just my basic artwork. That is a new character I created called Tin Bears. He has the strength of 10 bears. He's actually a villain. And then I colored it just on basic, paint, 3D paint. But so that's my style of art versus what that guy can do.
I like that. We had another question from the chat from you, from Lexington 73300. He says, I'm seeing more and more indie comics while at the same time the big two's sales are tanking. What is it that indie books like you offer that Marvel and DC don't these days?
For me, okay, so when I started bringing the people together, I wanted to make sure that we're not putting a lot of inappropriate stuff in the books. What made me think of that was my daughter, who's 21 now. When she was 9, she wanted to read Spider-Man that I was reading, and actually had a lot of adult content that she really shouldn't be reading as a 9-year-old girl. And I thought, that's stupid. How in the world are you going to get kids to grow up on comics if they're, if parents aren't going to let them read? Now, some parents obviously would, but I mean, I wasn't going to let my daughter do that, and I'm sure there's a lot of parents that wouldn't. So I wanted to make sure that our books were created that kids can read the books, but it wasn't dumbed down. The content was still edgy enough that adults could appreciate it too. So we try to balance that out where adults can, read it and kids can read it, and it would actually make, make new fans for us. Hopefully, with they introduce the kids, and that's actually worked. When I've talked about it to parents, they come to our convention. I'm sure they see a lot of things like, oh, and I let them know that, hey, this one can read this book as well as you. So, I mean, and a lot of kids buy their first books from us. That's their first comic. It's just kind of neat. Another factor, too, is that, as you notice, Eben is a black super character, but the villains don't hate him because of the color of his skin. They hate him because he's the hero's hero. He's a good guy, So I definitely want to keep all of that out of it. We know racism and all that stuff is there. We understand that it's there. But, I mean, excuse me, it's going to continue to be there if we keep bringing it up and talking about it over and over and over again. So I try to keep a lot of the social stuff like that out of it. Eric Factor, the one that writes to the tribe, he had a guy one time ask him, well, why wouldn't you want to talk about, the racism with like Native Americans or black, whatever? And Eric put it very clearly. And like I said, Eric is Native American. He's Chickasaw. He said, look, if you've got a wound and you got your finger in that wound and you never pull it out, then it's never going to heal. You got to pull that finger out to let it heal. And it's right. I mean, so will it ever go away? No, but there's no point just keep rehashing that over and over again. So I think that that's something that we're seeing in a lot of books today that are the big two that people are kind of getting tired of. We're just flooded with that stuff. And I just don't think that there's a need for it.
I agree. I think from my point of view, whether it was reading books or watching movies or comic books, anything I've ever read or experienced throughout my lifetime, it's never mattered the race or gender of the main character as long as the character was a good character.
Yeah.
Great writing and good characters win out every time in my book.
Of course. Well, the thing that attracted me to Equinox was when I saw Aaron, when I seen the page on MySpace, and I was looking at some of his characters, that he had a diversity in there, but it wasn't beating you over the head. He just said, okay.
That's just how it was.
And I was just asking him, well, what is this character? Well, this is our Superman character. Okay, that's a character that looked like me. So I'm going, okay, well, and okay, well, that's good. Then next thing he told me about the tribe that he wanted to do. Then, you have this strong, when the Rachel Strand, a strong female character where she was lead and she did everything that she wanted to. And, she was the, the mind and the the body that encompasses the whole story. So that's one of the things that attracted me to Equinox and wanted to do stuff with them, because the diversity that they had, and again, it wasn't hitting you over the head with it. It's just the way that it was when they created the characters, and there was no ulterior motives behind it. It was just the characters they created. So
yeah. Well, I mean, think about it like this, man. You're not gonna alienate any readers. You're gonna expand your readership by having a more realistic, what's the word I'm looking for? A more realistic disbursement of people how they really are.
Right.
How it's a representation of the true world, of the real world. You're going to bring in more people like that. So that's what you want to do. You don't want to,
Right.
It's more interesting. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I just say it's much more interesting, from a societal, I guess is the word, standpoint, to read your Evan character. I'm interested in reading that character because he's a Superman character who happens to be black. It's not as interesting to me and a lot of people that it's a black Superman. He's a superhero first. His race, his gender, his whatever isn't an issue. It's a secondary characteristic. And I think, like you said, we tend to kind of beat things over the head, I think I noticed it came to kind of a head when they, I like to watch a lot of the comic, TV shows, some of the stuff that the WB does or whatever. And I was interested in the Batwoman character. I've always found it interesting. Well, lead actress steps down after one season, and then, their casting call was only limited to non-heterosexual women. Okay. Like, well, does it really affect her ability to portray this character? Is it that essential that, she's in this cliche, she could be interesting in other ways.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think Dr. King hit it just right, and y'all are doing out your comics, judge people by go by what's the character of their heart.
Yeah.
Go by their character, not where they come from, not the color of their skin, any of that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just be a good person. How about that?
Yeah,
Don't be
a good human.
Yeah, don't be a douchebag.
Of course.
And that's pretty much how I live my life. I mean, if you treat me bad, it's not because of, I'm not going to be mad at you because of what you look like. I'm going to be mad at you because of what you did,
Bingo.
Right.
100%.
I love this guy to death. I've always said that if I had to choose somebody to replace me as a father and a husband, because if I'm going to die tomorrow, he's the first guy I'm choosing. I didn't choose him because of the color of his skin. It's because of who he is. This is my daughter, Kaylee, my youngest daughter. She loves him. We call her Johnny, her godfather. But I can't ever get on the phone without her saying, "Is that Johnny? Tell him I love him." He loves you more. So it's but no, they're buds, and that's the way it is. And I mean, so and honestly, the makeup of our group and our team is anywhere from male and female to Native American, Hispanic, Caucasian, whatever I am, Irish, I guess. Believe it or not, I used to have kind of reddish color hair, but and even a guy in a wheelchair, that is paralyzed from the neck down. By the way, Marty, who does our lettering sometimes, and he can draw and write as well. I mean, that paralyzation did not stop him from doing what he wanted to do either. But so
that's awesome.
That's good stuff, man.
We had another question from Sal Passos in the audience. He says, question for anyone: how do you come up with the characters and develop their personalities?
Well, of course, back in the day, it was like going through my science book. What's in the back of the? It was like, oh, this word looks pretty cool. Let me read and make sure. A lot of it come, from the beginning, coming from just the books I'm reading in school, which obviously wasn't helping on the test because I was reading the wrong stuff. But I was trying to figure out how to create a character. And then, I don't know, the tribe stuff. I mean, I just try to find Native American names that were kind of cool, or just, names that were kind of cool. Well, for example, the character Ghost Spear, the ninja, was originally called Seminole because I always thought that the Seminole, the Florida State mascot, the Seminole, was kind of cool, and how the Seminole Indian would come up here and throw the spear in the ground. I thought it was just awesome, when he did that. But I had the colors all wrong with that. Eric came along. He said, let me fix this for you. And he changed the name to Ghost Spear and made the character better. But I mean, I come up with names like that just based off of little things. So Tin Bears, for example, that I just showed you, I was trying to come up with a character for that. And I thought, well, what kind of headdress would he have? It'd be kind of neat. And then I found this picture of a guy wearing like a bear head. And I thought, ooh, that'd be kind of neat. So he's a bear. Now, what would make him tough? I mean, bears are strong, but if he had to battle bison, it's like, well, maybe he's got the strength of 10 bears. Oh, there it is, 10 bears, And Eric, the writer, said, oh, I love it. And said, go with it. So I did that. And then as far as personalities go, you can base it off of, like I said, my son Logan off the Rampage character.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A lot of characters, even just working with my writer Tommy, a lot of them is just experience, people that he knows. That you may infuse some of that. Well, I know this one lady, one of our characters in Rachel Strand, she's a police chief. Her name's Nancy Nettles, and she was based on Tommy's one of his bosses, I think. And when he described it to me, I put it down, and he was just seemed like he seen a ghost and said, "Shit, that looks exactly like her." And of course, I'd never seen her before. So
Tommy's excellent description and Johnny's excellent artwork.
So a lot of characters. I mean, just people that we may know and run through in life that you'd be a cool character. So let me infuse some of your personality in this. Let me create this, or and again, just influences that we have through literature and through TV and the arts. I mean, we get a lot of the characters influence from those. So I mean, you kind of beg, borrow, and steal some of that stuff, and then that's when you just kind of put it all together, and then you come up with, hey, well, okay, that's start work. What do we do this? And it's always tweaking. So even with the Rachel Strand stuff, I mean, we're always constantly tweaking the character and changing her up a little bit here and there. So
and the supporting cast and the Rachel Strand that Johnny and Tommy have created, I mean, they are characters of their own. I mean, there's some really great characters that are a supporting cast, not just Rachel. So
nice. So your storyline drives character development, and character development drives the storyline. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Yeah, nice.
Of course.
That's very similar to how I do characters as well. I'll create a character for a situation in one of the books, and I just kind of let the storyline develop how their personality adapts. Like there's a character in my Wild Hunt books that's pretty popular named Margolin, and people seem to really relate to him. He's like a big smart ass, and it just kind of happened. The first line out of the character was in the first book, first Codename Wild Hunt book, Odin's Call, is when the character of Daniel Clark, one of the main characters, gets into the chopper. Margolin looks over at him and goes, "First time in a chopper?" Just that kind of smart ass, and it just kind of developed the character from there, and then as the dialogue started progressing with the character, even I was astounded at some of the crap that came out of his mouth.
Embrace the suck. Absolutely. Embrace the suck.
That's funny. See, and that obviously. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Steve. You're cutting out, buddy. You're cutting out really bad.
Steve must be in my old hotel room tonight.
Well, I was just going to say, obviously that the Margolin is a very popular character. I mean, you got your fans commenting, see, apparently there's a lot of stuff. If you ain't puking, you aren't trying hard enough. Okay, sorry. No, I agree. Embrace the puke, I guess.
Well, it's an old phrase in the military. Embrace the suck basically just means just embrace it and move on. It's not going to get any better. Just keep going. And the character of Margolin, two of the main characters were talking about him Like that's the little moron that showed up at a company briefing in an "Embrace the Suck" T-shirt, and they're like, "Well, that's pretty funny." And he's like, "Yeah, well, because of that, the command sergeant major says every time somebody says the phrase "Embrace the Suck," he has to drop and do 100 push-ups. So now it's like the running gag in the books that somebody will just lean over and go, "Hey, embrace the suck!" Damn it! And he's down doing push-ups.
See, now you need a Margolin T-shirt that says in word balloon "Embrace the Suck."
Absolutely. We actually were talking about doing one of those for Christmas. My buddy Josh helps me design our T-shirts on our Teespring store, and there's going to be an "Embrace the Suck" T-shirt coming very soon.
That's funny.
That'd be cool.
I'd be down like a fat kid on a seesaw for that one, man. That's
Hey, Steve, your mic worked.
Oh, of all the times, huh? Fat kid like
That's hilarious.
Well, what I was starting to say before I was robbed of audio here was that I remember GA having a couple of conversations with us where he was talking about how he was writing some scene and the characters basically took off on their own. And I forgot how you phrased it, but it was almost like a third party viewpoint. You're like, yeah, I was writing the scene and Margaret was just going off and just being an asshole, and I'm like. He doesn't do anything unless you do it. But it's kind of like
my stories are very character driven, and sometimes when the dialogue starts to flow, it ends up going a direction I didn't even intend for it to go. And at that point, I just kind of throw my hands in the air and let the characters have their way with the story because they're running off with it.
The just has an out of body experience.
Yeah, the same way in comics, some of the characters, they just take off and they just go a different direction.
Yeah.
Okay, let's ride with it and see where it goes and see where it takes us. So.
And those end up being your best characters, the ones that you have so firmly developed. If you in your head, you know how they're going to react, even if it's totally different than how you would react.
Of course,
Right.
Of course.
Right. And that's an important part about character development. Kind of jumping back on that is knowing that character inside and out. With Rampage, again, that is based off of my son, and my son, again, like I said, he's 6'4". He's a big guy. He actually dresses as Thor, and goes and visits kids in hospitals and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
He's about 240 pounds. He's got the hammer. He's a big kid, but his personality is completely opposite of being a Rampage. He's got a black belt and everything, but he's not like some mean badass guy who's going out there trying to fight everybody. He's very chilled and laid back. So I base a lot of that character off of him. I mean, even I got a part in the story that I was writing where, because he delivers packages for this little company. So he rides a little motor scooter, and I got a part where he's getting attacked by a little chihuahua, that's pulling his, obviously he could kick me to the next universe because he's super strength character. But, he's like, I was attacked by a chihuahua, I'm trying, that's why I'm late, funny stuff. But well,
reminds me of my aunt's chihuahua. Oh my God. That dog hated everyone and everything except for my aunt.
Wow.
Yep. That's chihuahuas.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this cover.
Well, Johnny drew that one. You want to tell him a little bit about it?
Well, that's part of what's going on in the story. I won't let it right of it out, but the character, of course, is Eben, and you see he's kind of laying. It's
well, isn't this where Warhawk was singing a bedtime story, or singing a night song? No. He's putting you to sleep. That changed.
But actually, this was Tim's idea. Actually, it was based on that class. I don't know if you've seen the classic painting where an angel is holding. I can't remember who it was, but it's holding that. But he wanted something like that, and he wanted Eben, and he wanted, since Warhawk, since he's our winged character, he's kind of our tech guy in the Equiverse.
Cool character.
And he had him hanging, of course, his wings, fully spread like an angel, and I guess Kent colored this, and he kind of gave kind of the almost like a halo sort of effect around him. So
I love this cover.
Yeah,
that's awesome
that.
cover.
That's awesome.
So he wanted that, and I said, "Yeah, I'll pull it off." So we did that, and it just came out right. But I won't let what's going on in the story, but yeah,
I like that.
We already talked about that one.
Yeah.
How about this one? Did we talk about this one already?
Yeah.
Wardrobe change, I suppose.
Well, that's actually just you kind of getting like different versions of Ebony's, where he was, kind of majestic. Then you kind of get where he's in the middle of something, and then that issue 3, you kind of defeated. So again, not giving away a lot of the story.
Yeah.
But
Well, and Kent Clark is the artist for that, and I'm not kidding. It's his real name, Kent Clark. He's actually a Kent Jr., not Clark Kent, but Kent Clark. That's his actual. That's not a made up name, I promise you. But yeah, he did the interior artwork for the chapter stories of Equinox, and then obviously he did the cover for that. Sean did the cover for the first one. Johnny did that one. We're going to do a lot of different covers, different artists. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy like on all the variants out there, but we're trying to get a lot of others involved doing just cover artwork. Even people that are not officially in the group of Equinox. But that's another great artist is in Kent Clark.
How about this one?
Well, yeah, that's Kent Clark, and he even come up with that. I suppose. I guess it was Kent's idea.
That's his idea.
So the Amazing Looney Man is a creation that my friend Tim, created. Tim Lackey. He's the looniest there is at what he does, and what he does is hard to explain. So obviously that's kind of a take on Wolverine,
Yeah.
But Looney Man is a character that his power is basically luck. He's not like long shot luck. This guy just lucky. He has no clue that he's winning this battle by sheer luck. He could take on Galactus, for example, if he wanted to, and defeat Galactus by sheer luck somehow. And we actually have a pretty neat little origin story that Jason Cootie, one of our other artists, and he could probably write if you wanted to, origin story about where he came from and how the mask came about. And then we actually were going to kind of, expand on the look as far as the helmet. I always thought it'd be kind of cool if that was a neat little like digital helmet that could change the facial expressions, or he could make it look like the planet Earth, or he could make it look like D.A. Roberts, or, have all kinds of cool stuff that's kind of digital in there. But he's a bit of a good, Deadpool's, he's also weird.
But Looney Man, I think he does have some sort of mental instability, but
Let's put it.
he's not. Yeah, he's kind of his reality.
Like Ambush Bug from DC.
Yeah. So his reality is not. He knows he's a super. He knows he's fighting crime, but the real world that he thinks is pretty much a Super Friends cartoon. So it's not like, I think he's hearing the monologue at the Hall of Justice, and he hears the music, but he's fighting. And again, his luck powers usually gets him out of a lot of the trouble that he's usually in.
Yeah.
So
whenever anybody says Hall of Justice, I always think of Frank Caliendo doing the voiceover where he's making fun of Aquaman. Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, Aquaman makes a tuna sandwich because he can't do crap.
Poor Aquaman.
Just can't catch a break.
Oh, Frank Caliendo was merciless. He's so funny.
Well, thank God for Jason Momoa, huh?
No kidding.
I knew when they cast him, everybody's like, no. I said, no, let me tell you something. The guys are going to think he's kind of cool because he's a big, tough guy. And he's kind of a cool character, or a cool guy himself. And the women are going to go crazy over that. So, yeah, that worked.
Well, they portray him much better than they did in those old Justice League cartoons, those Super Friends cartoons, where they had to concoct all kinds of weird stories just to get him in the water to make him useful.
yeah,
Using his aquatic telepathy. Boop, boop, boop.
It's like, I'm sorry, it wasn't calling for a tuna fish. I need a shark.
Summons Cthulhu.
There you go.
Oh,
That would be the day they stop making fun of Aquaman. That's for sure.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good.
So this one is basically just an overview of most of your characters, or just a few?
Yeah, that's a collage of a lot of our characters. So there should be, okay, so let me kind of go through this. So the guy on the far left at the bottom left corner, That's a character named Voodoo that was created by Sean Cowan. That he's kind of in and out of he was part of us in the beginning with Equinox, but he stepped aside for personal reasons. I'm not sure, but we still know him. He's still around, but he's a pretty cool character. Obviously, got voodoo powers. There's a connection to some of the characters that are in the story of the Equinox books. You got Turbo down there in the blue, obviously super speed ability. Right above him is the Judge that's got kind of the faceless mask there, right below the E of the Equinox. Now, his look has changed quite a bit. You got Looting Man right there. There's a girl right above the Judge. I think she's just a supporting character of the Judge story. No, actually, she's in Curse.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. Rachel Strand. You got Eben, our E logo. Then Curse mask, that red kind of skull-looking mask. He's also down on the right-hand side. He's a ninja as well. He's in one of our Equinox books. I think Equinox 2.
Yeah.
Warhawk right there in the right-hand corner. That was actually a painting done by David Richmond, who's he used to work in Hollywood, in fact, as a props designer and creator, and he lives back here in the Tulsa area, but he can paint really well. Of course, below that's Omna, and then Curse, and then the bottom corner where you see a girl looks like she's getting her sticking her hand inside of a dinosaur's mouth. Is actually a book called Avery, which the artist for that, and he wrote it, is Trey Bishop, who he actually revised that cover a bit, where he made the mouth close a little bit, so it didn't look like that was actually that she's getting to get swallowed up by a dinosaur. We did this book for a guy that I knew who was a bank president. He had a daughter and son that, or I'm sorry, grandchildren that he wanted us to create a comic for him. And so we're okay. So he said she likes dinosaurs and he's just a boy, likes trucks and stuff like that. So we created a story, kind of a short story about her and her pet dinosaur Boog. And then you've also got the little boy with his imagination riding trucks that can talk to you. So that's kind of what that is. So that's just a collage of some of our characters.
Yeah, one of our business cards too.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's really cool.
It's really neat.
Thank you.
The Rachel Strand series looks really good.
It is.
And
Yeah.
she's hot.
Yeah, that's
For a pelt
Pattern, Doc.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just saying, man.
My friend Michael did this cover. This is our cover to issue 1, which we need to get back up and selling. We sold out all the books that we had of her. But yeah, my friend Michael did that cover. I asked him to come on and, start doing some cover work for us. So he did that. And just so everybody know, she's going to get away from the Wolverine. She's going to have finger. The Hellraiser's going to be finger claws.
Kind of gauntlets.
Yeah. So
those aren't retractable claws like Wolverine.
No.
Those
are just something that they just form on her,
They can actually kind of,
meld, and
yeah, they can kind of change shape. They're kind of its own entity. It's kind of in a way Tommy can describe it. He can describe it much better than we can, but they're kind of alive in a way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, see, it's more like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying, hey, that's X-23. And we're like, no, actually, we had that character way before X-23 ever came out from Marvel Comics. We just didn't obviously have it, not even if we have it published at that time, but we're not going to tell Marvel to cease and desist. Obviously, it's not going to work. But so Johnny, and Tommy, they kind of revamped her look, took away the mask, gave her the gauntlets, and you can see her in a coat. So, in my opinion, made much better. This is you can kind of see the coat there. But yeah, they can change. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of our characters that we create, we do have to kind of update and revamp a bit. But yeah, it's one of my favorite ones right there.
That's a really cool image.
Oh man,
Sean.
Kent actually.
Kent did that. Okay.
that's really cool.
So right now,
Her dog was kind of
looking for several other characters that's out there.
Yeah.
So, and she
Cool.
still kind of has a cat suit. Look, I mean, we didn't want to be any kind of over the top superhero, colorful suit. I mean, she's definitely a half vampire, and mainly a lot of her stories delves a lot of the mysticism, into some of the darker elements, even the horror elements. But there's still the superhero twist to it, where she's okay. I'm fighting crime sometimes, or I'm fighting a monster or fighting other vampires and stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's in her universe that she's going to contend with, from vampires and werewolves to witch covens to supervillains, actually. So, she has a lot of backstory. Me and Tommy put together. We got tons of characters that we have. I mean, that we just now scratching the surface to get out there, and even she has people that kidnaps people that she goes against. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that she's going to be tackling, and it's going to be kind of over the top. Some of them way over the top, some of them not so much, but some of them are, darker, evil things. So,
well, she's been around for a few hundred years too, right?
Yeah, she's a few hundred years old. So still trying to make her hot. So.
Her attitude sucks, but
yeah, y'all do have a lot of people that come on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I appreciate everybody coming. This is great. This is great.
Yeah, I hope everybody takes the chance to check out your guys' works. I mean, find them over at Indie Planet. I posted the link to the direct Indie Planet link. I went to the Indie Planet and looked it up, and I'll post the link again in the chat room.
Thank you.
So if you guys are wanting to pick up any of these issues, if you follow this link that I'm posting right now, you guys should be able to just click on the link and go straight over to the Indie Planet store and pick up some of their titles. And I know there's some of the ones there's a couple that I was already familiar with, but there's some ones that I haven't even seen, because I definitely want to check out the Tribe. That I've got to get that. That's got to go to my collection.
Yeah, we have so many more that we want to get out. Just an FYI about Equinox. I mean, we're not really getting paid for it. I mean, I've shared this with everybody that I've brought into the group. The money goes right back into Equinox. I have not made a single dime on this since we've started this, but I put a lot of money into it. Johnny's put a lot of money into it. I mean, these guys have donated their time and talent to make Equinox, get to this point. Obviously, our goal would be to make Equinox up there that can compete. But we got to put some other things in play to make that ever work. Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about the group of people that we've got to work with at Equinox. So, it's I don't know, I guess I'm kind of gushing at this point.
How long does it take you from basically concept to storyboard to finished product? How long does it take you guys to do a comic?
It depends. And again, like I said, we're all got our other 9 to 5s that we're working. If time allows us, usually we can get a comic book done within probably about a month, but about 30 days, maybe give or take a few.
Yeah.
Again, that's with us, having the time to do it. And like I said, with all of us working 9 to 5, that's kind of tough, especially on the artist. Usually the writers, they can put it out. It's writing is easy. They say, "Oh, I got the story out. I already got it done." Okay, I got to draw this. So
yeah. Well, like my Rampage story, I've had that around for quite a while.
Yeah,
but I mean, and I just haven't had anyone to jump in there and draw it yet. So, and I actually started on issue 2 writing it, but then that slowed down. So yeah, if we were doing this as a regular, as our living, I mean, obviously we could probably knock out some stuff pretty quick. And the great thing is a lot of our characters that we created when we were younger, I mean, we've got the creations. All we really do is need to do is refine those characters, which we do all the time with a lot of them. So, I mean, if we could do it on a monthly basis and start kicking it out, that would be pretty cool. And I think we could, if that's what we're able to focus on primarily. So,
you guys should set up like a Teespring store to do T-shirts of the characters. I think those would be pretty popular.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, the Curse shirt that we had before, that was always the top seller. The Curse with his mask.
Yeah.
We had some of those shirts that we had at cons, and they went like that. So,
in fact, that one of the guys we never asked anybody to cosplay our stuff, but people started cosplaying our characters.
That's awesome.
The Curse was one of the first ones. This kid, he said, "Hey, is it all right if I cosplay the Curse?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead, man." So he started creating the mask and the suit and everything. And we like to brag that our character beat Marvel and DC in a cosplay contest.
That's awesome.
It actually did. One of the local conventions, his character, his cosplay beat out anything else that was created that was non-Equinox, and he won first place. So
that is awesome. I love some of the characters we see in indie comics. Even when I was still reading Marvel and DC, it was a lot of the secondary characters I liked. It wasn't the main big ones. Like for DC, I liked Green Lantern, but John Stewart and Guy Gardner were my favorite Green Lanterns.
Yeah,
I mean, Hal Jordan just kind of got boring to me. And the same thing with Marvel. I mean, Marvel's finally paying attention to some of those secondary titles, like Moon Knight. I loved Moon Knight. Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu.
Yeah, thank God for that movie coming out.
When I saw that was coming out, my first response was, they better do Ghostmaker. Because that was the best villain Marvel had. I'm like, oh, come on, I want to see Ghostmaker on the big screen. I gotta see Ghostmaker, and I'm still waiting for that. But I got literally excited when they started doing some of the secondary characters because they didn't get as much love as the big names, but they were great characters.
Of course,
I wish that they would do the Power Man and Iron Fist. I mean, I know they did that on Netflix, but I wanted Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I wanted Power Man and Iron Fist series. I thought that was great, and not the way they kind of portrayed Danny Rand these days, you know. Mm-hmm. But Power Man and Iron Fist was one of my favorites.
Yeah, the Iron Fist they didn't do as well with as some of the other things. They weren't as true to the host material.
Yeah,
I liked Daredevil, but I liked it when Frank Miller had the project because it was really dark and very gothic. That was the best run of Daredevil, in my opinion, was when Frank Miller did it. Of course, Frank's awesome.
Yeah. Of course.
So who inspired you guys? Whose work inspires you?
Johnny inspires me.
Maybe a little bit of everybody. I mean, I can name
excuse me, John.
I can name everybody from Jim Lee to John Byrne to Jack Kirby to Steve Ditko to Ross Andrew, Joseph Rubenstein. Oh man, I can name a bunch. Then I can even go on to maybe somebody like Charles Schultz, who was instrumental in my becoming an artist. And of course, the Grace, Michelangelo, Picasso. I mean, there's a lot of influences I have. Even I tell kids now is that even if you can draw pretty good, you're going to influence me because I'm looking at how good you are, how you're progressing. I mean, that's always the influence. I always love to see good art, and I like to see people that's even trying good art. That just does my heart well. So I'm influenced by everybody. It's kind of a cop out, but I'm influenced by a little bit of everybody. So.
Well, Art Adams is one of my favorite artists. And I got to meet him, which was great. He signed some books. Then there's, of course, Peter David. I loved his run on the Hulk that he did. And of course, the Claremont and Perez and Wolfman's, all those out there. Those are the kind of the ones that really kind of motivated me. And trying to blank. Al Williamson. Who was it that did the Thor artwork for a while?
Michael Golden?
Walt Simonson. There's Walt Simonson.
Walt Simonson.
Yeah. I loved his stuff. And in fact, I got a kind of chance to chat with him online. I was part of trying to bring one of the local comic conventions to town, and part of my job is to try to bring in talent. And I reached out to Walt Simonson and said, "Man, I'd love to have you come." And he goes, "Well, I don't fly. I won't fly." And so he wasn't going to come. And he said he's getting too old to get out there and rerun around that far to come to Oklahoma. But I was like, oh man, I would have left that Walt Simonson to come in, but he's one of mine as well.
Lexington 73300 asks, do you have a submissions process, or is everything done in-house?
Right now, it's in-house. It's like I said, we're not to the point where I can pay people to do this work. I would love to, but I'm just not to that point, even as long as we've been doing this. We do have people that submit ideas and stories to us, and we've kind of given them feedback and everything if they wanted that. But you know, I just not to where I could do that yet. And again, I mean, if I could dedicate 100% to us, you know, that'd be a different story. But I'm just not able to do it. Like I said, a lot of this is being funded by ourselves, and my wife will kill me if I start paying a lot of people money. Just reading that.
Cryptid will.
Yeah.
No amount of practice is going to make me a better artist. I suck. I'm a writer, not an artist.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you can sketch it out enough to conceptualize it, you know, and you know, make it work for the artist to turn it, you know, into something better. I mean, you know, I mean,
I stick figure storyboard it.
We should. Do you have a picture of your stick figure? He's got a stick figure that he drew that's made out of sticks and twine and all kinds of really cool, detailed looking sticks. So it's actually kind of funny. I wish I had a picture of the stick figure. It's not a lines. It's designed to look like an actual stick figure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I should have brought that picture somewhere. I don't know if I got it, but yeah, this is what he's been doing.
Whoa. I can't believe you've just done that since the show started.
Yeah.
You've been working on that like an hour and a half, maybe.
Can I see it real quick? Yeah. I didn't rip it, I promise you.
He does that in every show, every con, every event. When we're talking
Sorry, guys. I have to
No
take a medical call.
No problem.
All right, thanks.
No, I scared somebody that brought some of their artwork one time to our table. Some really nice artwork. This girl brought it up, and as soon as she handed it to me, I kind of looked at it, and I did that rip sound, and she about died. I thought she really was going to have a medical issue as well. But I don't know. It's a stupid skill that I use. My students like it, so.
But DA, want to reach out to somebody, we definitely want to thank you for having us on, and if somebody want to, however you want to do it,
that would be awesome.
We're going to do a giveaway. That's awesome.
Be our giveaway.
Wow.
So
Here, I'll
Well,
touch it. So, there.
no,
That is cool.
I'm trying to touch her webcam, you know.
Wow. That's awesome.
that is freaking awesome.
That's Rachel Strand. That's our half human, half vampire character.
So however you
Hot.
want to do it, just give it.
Well, let me see if any of my chat room moderators are in the house tonight, because they always run the Nightbot. Nightbot is a randomizer that how we just do a random drawing, and I'm not sure if any of them are in the house tonight. Give me just a moment.
Cool.
Guys, you can go ahead and ask questions if you like. I'm just hunting.
Johnny, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
All right. So do you do any kind of private commissions on anything? I've got a question about my logo, because it pays homage to St. Michael, because St. Michael's kind of like God's bouncer, kind of kicks out the riffraff or whatever. Yeah. And I had a T-shirt done years and years ago when I first started the business, over a decade ago, or right at a decade ago, and it wasn't really what I was. It was okay. It was good, but it wasn't what I was looking for. So I was wondering if I could talk to you about something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe.
And I don't mean to laugh at that. When you said that commissions, I'm looking into my office right now and I got like 5 or 6 on my desk that I'm working on.
No,
I need to check his trash can.
Yeah, so I'm multitasking.
Yeah, as I say, check his trash can.
Yeah, everybody when they asked me, said, "Do you have any?"
Oh no.
Right on, man.
So, yeah, I always spit in there. So. Yeah, like I said, just we'll talk and
Yeah, that'd be
I'll do
awesome,
my
man.
contact info and
That'd be great.
we'll see what I can do. I don't know if I can do any better, but I can give it a shot.
Yeah, man. I love the artwork, like DA was saying. Man, everything I'm seeing, I've enjoyed comic books from back in the day. You know, Sergeant Rock and Ghost
yes.
Rider. Yeah, I mean, all those good comics. You know, I mean that back in the day, and I'm in the drawing and everything I'm seeing on there. I hadn't read anything, obviously, but I'm gonna. And the artwork is that it really took me back. It really took me back. I was like, that's
cool.
That's solid. I like that.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, even with Equinox. We're trying to keep it back to the old school way that they did comics and how they drew them and everything. And like I said, I'm a fan of a lot of the old school. I mean, that's how I learned.
All right.
Just emulating them and looking at their stuff, studying their work, and I mean, you got Sergeant Rock. I just think Joe Kubert came to mind. I'm going, wow, yeah. So I mean, just a lot of the classic artists back then. I just loved and still love it.
It reminds me a lot of, like, I've got some of the Punisher graphic novels that Garth Ennis did.
Yes.
And I mean, Garth Ennis is like one of my favorites as well. So, man, I just like that kind of that artwork. It's awesome. So, not trying to blow sunshine up y'all's rear end or anything, man.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's
yeah.
You may feel some pressure. I'm a nurse.
Some pressure right there.
But it's but yeah, y'all are doing some good stuff, man, and I can't wait to get some of your work to check it out and tell my friends too about
Appreciate
that.
it.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Well, there's so much more to come. We just, lucky people have been very patient with us. We've got people coming all the time saying, "Hey, when's the Tribe #2 coming out?" And I actually print off the pages. Look, okay, we've got it. Just got to be lettered. We just got to get to that part, and it looks even better than issue 1, in my opinion. But I mean, we've got so many more characters that we've got to introduce. We got a whole Equiverse, like I said. We just got so much. That's
awesome. I like that. That's cool. I'm gonna get the Tribe for my wife because she's a third Creek. She's got more Native American in her than I do. So I think she would really dig that because she loves anything Native American. So
yeah, I mean, same here. Like I said, I mean, if I have any Native in me, you couldn't tell. I actually had a student the other day. He was trying to braid his girlfriend's hair, and he goes, I'm Native American. You think I'd learn how to braid? And I said, well, I'm Irish, but I'm not that lucky. So I mean, I understand.
That's good. I like that.
Well, I've got Nightbot up and ready to roll. We'll do the drawing here in just a minute. Folks, if you want to be eligible for the drawing, you need to be in the YouTube chat. The drawing for this original artwork that Johnny has drawn. Right. And you can comment in the YouTube chat. And you'll be, if you have to have commented within the last 5 minutes, you can just make random comments as long as you've commented, and that'll get everybody into the drawing. And we'll do the drawing we'll do it in 2 minutes at 10:30. So make sure you guys are getting getting comments into the chat, and then we'll roll the randomizer here in just a few minutes.
I guess I'm not eligible.
No, you're not eligible.
Actually, if you're in the chat, yes, you are.
You can just hand it right over, huh? I'll just dig in the trash can. He's probably got one in there. So.
Wow. That's really freaking cool, man. Holy
crap.
crap.
You just did that in the last hour and a half. That's astounding.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's one of our, if not our popular. I mean, people know Johnny Johnson, with us. I mean, you talk about the commissions. This poor guy. People are constantly calling him before the event saying, "Hey, I would like to have a commission done." So he's trying to do those before you even get to the conventions. And poor guy, and he can knock them out pretty fast, but he just got so many that he's having to do. Need a Bigfoot bad guy? Yeah. Well,
not a bad guy. So.
I mean, I've got a character named Oma that is I mean, I don't know if it's an original idea or not. But no, I've got a character that I'm developing called Omar, where he's basically a 14-year-old Bigfoot that was raised as a baby from a Native American guy he writes curriculum for schools and things like that. So basically, that's what he does up in the mountains. He gets away and he finds a baby Bigfoot and takes him under his wing and raises him as his own. And now it's his kid. And it turns out he could teach that Bigfoot how to speak and educate him. And so he's a pretty smart kid. And I think I always thought one of the reasons why, you can't find Bigfoot, you can't find all these cryptic characters is because you're not a cryptic, but he is. And so he can actually find all these cryptic creatures that are out there. I mean, from Bigfoot to Dogman to the Chupacabras, even, if you think about like the werewolves and the vampires, I mean, he could sense those. So I've got an idea for him that I'd like to do eventually, but there will be some villain Bigfoot in there.
That's cool, man.
That would be awesome.
That's
Nightbot selected Sal Passos as won the giveaway. So Johnny, how do you want him to get in contact with you so he can give you his address?
Well, we can send it to you. Is it a bit easier to send it to you and you give me the address and I can just mail it off?
Yeah, Sal, send me your address. I'll post my email up here real quick. You just send that to me and I will send it over to Johnny. Let me find my email address again.
Or I could grab an Uber and just drive on over there. I don't know.
Congratulations again, Sal. You're awesome. Thanks for watching us and listening to us blab all this geek stuff. So.
Sal, if you'll contact me at daroberts@daroberts.net. I think you already had my email though. But you contact me at my email and I will send your information over to Johnny and he'll get that out to you. And Johnny, are you going to autograph it? I
am. I got to remember because I have a problem with forgetting my autographs on a lot of my work.
I try to remind them. I'll remind them.
So we'll definitely autograph that and get it sent to you. And no postage. Don't worry about postage costs or anything. I'll handle everything. So.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
It's like the Bob Ross of comic books, He starts with like piece of paper, an hour later, there's like
happy little superheroes.
Happy little
superheroes.
Fade back.
I don't even grow my afro back.
I've been trying to get him to do that. He won't do it.
Those days are gone.
Yeah, the Bob Ross throw is something to behold.
Yeah. I think
you need to draw a picture. I'm actually commissioning on that one. I might have to wait for about a year.
That's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I said earlier, I mean, kind of plug in that movie that our books are actually going to be in. It's called Possessions. Just kind of look for Possessions. There is on the Internet Movie Database, and they don't have a whole lot on there. Like I said, they're still in post-production part of this. But from what the producer told me, he said, it's not just you're going to see the books in the racks. You'll see our books in the racks there, but they'll actually show close-ups of the interior books as the kids reading them. So it's going to have a prominent spot in there, which,
cool.
And, here's the cool thing. We didn't have to pay for product placement. It was kind of a nice little trade-off. But I mean, like I said, hopefully, he messaged me back the other day. He said, we're back in LA, but he said, we need to get together and talk about something future. And if I can get the tribe into that, I mean, that opens a door for Rachel Strand and for Eben and other characters that we've got, even maybe that Oma idea that I've got, we would like to get there and try to open those doors. And, again, I love Marvel. I love DC. I love a lot of comics. But I've always felt like they do need something fresh and new. And it'd be nice to be one of the big three. Now that's every creator's dream. Every little publisher's dream is, I mean, I'm not trying to take away anything from those two companies, but it would be nice to have a third option that's up there like that. And it's a little different. So it takes fans to make that happen. And we appreciate getting new fans. We do appreciate you, DA, for you guys for bringing us on and talking about it.
Oh no, not a problem at all. I've been a fan of your comics for 10 years now.
That's cool.
Very cool stuff.
Well, like I said, man, we appreciate you reaching out to us, man, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I know you always come on every once in a while and check on me, so appreciate that too.
Not anytime, man. And next time you guys have an issue about to drop, if you guys would like to come back and promote the issue, you are 100% welcome. Just reach out to me whenever you've got something you'd like to plug, and we'll be happy to do it.
Oh, very cool.
I mean, I got an issue with my neighbor kind of driving too fast in the neighborhood. Is that something we can talk about?
Well, he's an officer of the law, so.
Well, I think we'll let Doc handle this one. He's got something over his left shoulder. Looks like he'd take care of that.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
And it's quiet.
It's quiet.
Problem solved, problem staying solved. Rangers lead the
That's
way.
pretty cool, actually. Well, I can see it now. Oh, yeah. All right. My brother-in-law is actually a Tulsa County Sheriff's deputy, or deputy sheriff. So, but I can't even get him to come over and help me move the couch. So. I was just joking.
That's family for you right there.
Hey, Johnny, if you'll check your Facebook messages, I just sent you his address.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, cool.
Gotcha. And so we'll get that out to you as soon as possible, man.
That is awesome. I can't believe you drew that just in an hour and a half. You
I'm
could have given
blown
me a
away.
month and it wouldn't have looked that good. It would have looked like a tormented stick figure.
Yeah.
It would have been horrible.
Yeah. I'd look like a freaking silverback up there with a paintbrush, having a seizure.
I mean, look, I've seen elephants that can paint pretty well. I mean,
They're more talented than I am.
Yep. Same.
It would look like Medusa having angry sex with a stick figure.
That'd be a good T-shirt.
There you go. Our show, we need him.
You're welcome.
That's hilarious. Sorry, I'm still laughing about that. We'll probably do another giveaway here in just a few minutes. I have some. I'll go ahead and discuss it a little bit. I just released a new book. It's called Codename Wild Hunt: Operation Lily and Other Tales. It's a collection of short stories. It's now available in Kindle and print. Also, Cam Buckner from Dixie Cryptid did the audiobooks. Did the audiobook for Codename Wild Hunt, and the first one just released. So I have audio codes to give away for the first Codename Wild Hunt, Odin's Call, and now available in audio, narrated by Cameron Buckner. So here in just a few minutes, I'll give away one of those codes as well.
That is awesome.
Doc, if you want one, I'll send you one.
Yeah, brother. I'm looking at this right now. I'm going to download the Kindle and I'm going to do the audio book from. Is that Audible? You said?
Yeah, I can just send you a code, brother.
Okay, right on, man.
I'll send you one here in a bit. Steve, you want one,
brother?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a spare, go ahead.
I've got a bunch of
I
them.
love listening to Cam. Yeah,
I got to drive.
You got my
I
email.
got to drive to Wichita next month for a class, so I'm McLeod, Oklahoma, and Wichita, so I'll
wow.
listen to it.
Where's McLeod, Oklahoma at?
I have no idea.
It's,
That's why you got a navigation system.
Exactly.
I want to say it's pretty close to the Panhandle. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it is. Now you got me wanting to look. I love Google Maps.
Yeah. Same. So I'll be getting some windshield time.
Sweet.
So that'd be
It
a
might be
good
actually-
idea.
There you go.
No, actually, it is. Oh, funny. It's actually not as far as I thought. It's between Tulsa and Oklahoma City. It's a tiny little place near between Shawnee, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma City area. I've probably driven through there. We've probably taken the wrong direction at one point in time.
Yeah.
Easy to do.
Yeah.
I'll be teaching classes out there, so it'll be fun.
All right. Well, they got a Sonic drive-in if you need food. So there you go.
Route 44 cherry limeade and a foot long chili cheese coney.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Wow. So Rubicon, I mean, is it still on? Right?
It's still going on. And there's another one here in Springfield now called Vision Con. It had moved to Branson for a while, but it's quite a bit bigger than Rubicon.
Okay.
Yeah,
I believe it's in May.
Yeah, we got invited to that when it was in Branson, but that
was like in February or something like that, and we're kind of worried about driving out there, the weather, and especially out in Branson, you know,
in the Ozarks. So
that would be scary. I mean, I can drive.
Yeah, I believe they've moved it to May now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you go driving to the Ozarks in February, you could end up being a victim of one of D.A. Roberts' novels.
Hey, if that's what it takes to get in that book, I suppose.
Hey, arrangements can be made.
I should keep my mouth shut. I don't know if I want to see you up at the casino now. Like, how's your luck? Not good.
Well, my series that I've got running actively now, Johnny remembers my Ragnarok Rising series. Well, I ended that series. It ended at 10 books, but I've got 4 other series out that are cryptid related, and then I've got a sci-fi series that's running as well. So those keep me pretty hopping.
Oh wow!
And I love the cryptid books. They've been really popular, so I'm pretty happy about that.
That's a pretty popular genre. Actually, I did one of the guys in Equinox, Ben. He has his own comics, and he called Halloween Head, and I did a Bigfoot story with him.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
was it Bigfoot and Hillbillies, isn't it?
Bigfoot and Psycho Cannibal Hillbillies.
Yeah, I think that's the other side of my family. But...
Sounds like my family reunion.
Yeah,
that sounds kind of methed up.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Ozarks.
That's so close to home. I don't know how you say that.
Dude.
I do love the crypto genre stuff. I mean, maybe that's why I love Chewbacca so much on Star Wars, because he reminds me of a Bigfoot. But I know I talked a little bit earlier. I was talking about Matt Knapp of Bigfoot Crossroads. You know, I was watching the Finding Bigfoot series when it first came out, and I happened to be on Facebook at the time, and I guess at some point in time I had friended Matt Knapp on there, and I was talking about, I said, I'm ready to go find Bigfoot. I'm ready to go out there. And he's like, well, I can take you out there, messaged me like that. And I'm like, oh crap, I don't know this guy. And I looked at his picture, he looks pretty scary and kind of looks like Bigfoot himself. And I'll get back with you, because who knows, you just want to take me out the mountains out there.
If you hear the banjos play.
Yeah.
Paddle faster, I hear banjos.
Hillbilly.
I was just say that. The ding, 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 ding.
Sasquatch on the banjo saying, come on, you got a pretty mouth, and I'm that's why I hit my mind at the time. But so I was like, I'll get back with you. But of course, since then I've listened to Matt's show and I've kind of talked to him more. So now I'd probably go out there with him as But if he shows up with a banjo, I'm not going.
You boys like banjo music?
Well,
Lord.
It always draws them in.
What's a Vic Cunda's other show? The my Sasquatch sightings, or was it? I think My Bigfoot Sightings, whatever his show is on that one. They've got I'm Not Afraid of Banjo Music or something like that. Vic's braver than me, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to take
picturing
a
like
pass on
Mike Rose singing this or something.
Yeah. This river don't go to Aintree, boy.
Yeah. Take a different path. Thank you very much.
Oh, you do
I
that
drive
a
my
little too well,
canoe
Doc.
up the side of the hill.
Well, folks, make sure you're getting comments into the YouTube chat. I'm going to do a drawing for the audio code for Codename Wild Hunt Odin's Call, narrated by Cameron Buckner. I will be doing that drawing here in just a couple of minutes. So make sure you guys, even if it's just a random, keystroke, just as long as you've made a comment in the last 5 minutes, you'll be eligible for the drawing. Sal, no offense, buddy, but if you win this one, I'm going to redraw.
Maybe Sal's Irish.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's won one before at some point. But I'm pretty jealous of that one. That drawing was awesome.
South Passos. That's a good Irish name.
Yeah.
One of those offshoot Irish, I guess, you know.
Hey, you guys are from Oklahoma. Maybe you can solve a mystery for me.
They don't all live in teepees. I'm telling you right now.
No, why is it that you can spell a town Miami and pronounce it Miami?
Thank you. I taught a class there.
That's what you have to ask the people there. We have some friends there, and we asked.
If you say it wrong, they will correct you.
Yeah, you say in Miami, they will definitely correct you.
Well, there's no E on the end of it either, but there's no on the end of it.
But the
Right.
I can E sound.
It's Miami, Florida, but it's Miami, Oklahoma.
Miami.
You know what? I remember now. I taught it at the tribal lodge thing they have there. I think it's because it's the Miami tribe, and it's Myameh or something like that.
The native
I think.
Burton.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think
That makes more sense than what I was thinking.
Yeah, well, it's like up in Massachusetts. I go teach up at SIG, and there's like a town called Peabody, Massachusetts, and it's Peabody. How would y'all pronounce that?
Peabody.
Peabody, right? Yeah. Nope, it's Peabody.
Peabody.
Peabody. Yeah.
You know,
I
it's
was
like
like,
Wiggy from Buck Rogers.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
I was like, no, Peabody is Peabody.
We have a town here.
So is that cartoon Mr. Peabody?
Yeah. Well, I've got a cousin that lives in a town pronounced Worcester, Massachusetts, and it's spelled Worcester.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Worcester. I'm like, you're missing like syllables here.
How people pronounce things differently is cracks me up. Like the little angry dogs are terriers, but that water's Perrier, not Perrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the dogs terriers.
That's a good point.
We have a town here. It's where every time there's a tornado coming through Oklahoma, the weather guy's like, it's near IXL. It's literally IXL. That's the town. IXL. IXL. Look, there's IXL.
Hey, what's this right here, DA and Steve? What's that?
A tourniquet, cat tourniquet.
Yeah, over. You know what they call it over in Scotland?
What's that?
A tourniquet.
Tourniquet.
A tourniquet. When you eat steak, if you eat like a filet mignon, you pronounce it filet, right? They pronounce it fillet.
Fillet.
Yeah. Say fillet and tourniquet, and it's all.
Some people here they call it fillet. Mistake fillet.
They're uneducated, but
Get me one of them fillet mignons.
Fillet mignon.
Yep.
And give me a quesadilla.
Yeah, a quesadilla.
Yeah. We call them filleted minions.
Filleted minions.
Filleted minions. My wife and I go to the steakhouse and get a filleted minion.
yeah.
If your steak comes out yellow, don't eat it.
Yeah.
It's got one big eye in the middle of it.
Ooh.
Let me have some champagne with it.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to roll the Nightbot randomizer for all the comments, and we're going to give away a audio code for Codename Wild Hunt, Odin's Call, narrated by Cameron Buckner. So here we go. Troy has won the drawing. Sorry, Sal. Wasn't you this time, buddy.
Congratulations, Troy.
Hey, Troy.
Congratulations, man. If you will send me a message at daroberts@daroberts.net, I will send you the audio code.
That's us.
Give him a second so he can get that down and bring that down. See if we got any more. Hey, Troy says, woohoo. I was hoping he hadn't left. We did a giveaway one night and it popped up on screen like 30 seconds after they left. It took me forever to track them down.
Troy, that's not a sarcastic woohoo, is it? I mean, just making sure. Woohoo.
Troy's a winner. He's got a hat last time.
Heck yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think this crap's rigged.
Hey, blame Nightbot. Don't blame me. Guys, if you're enjoying the show tonight, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the YouTube channel. That does help us really get our reach out there. And if you hit that little alarm bell, it'll tell you every time we go live. And we will be bringing more content just like this. And I will definitely be having the guys from Equinox Comics back, because this has been a good show. Really appreciate you guys. I love showcasing local talent. I mean, you guys are just down the road about 2.5 hours from me, and I love showcasing local talent. It's fantastic how much creativity is here in the Midwest, and people on the coast consider us flyover states. Well, you know what? We're doing it bigger and better because all you guys are doing is rehashing the same old crap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, good.
It's like Hollywood can't make a movie these days that ain't a remake.
Or a horrible remake.
Yeah, usually a terrible one. Yeah.
I actually was complaining about the other day. All the Starsky and Hutch movies and the A-Teams and all that. It was like, just stop.
Stop ruining our childhoods.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. That does bug me to death, but you just come up with something new.
or make horrible sequels that never should have been made. Highlander 2 comes to mind.
Used to watch that show before.
Hey, that's a fine piece of film there. I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, the first one was great. The second one, not so much.
Well,
they're talking about remaking that.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
If they do it, I hope they do it well. They're talking about having I can't. His name escapes me. The guy that plays
Ryan
Superman.
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Oh God, I hope not.
I know.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. They're talking about casting Henry Cavill, but they haven't said in what role. He's a big dude. He'd make a great Kurgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see him playing Connor. He's just too big.
Yeah.
Huh.
So hopefully, if they do remake it, they don't turn it into an abomination.
No.
Well, I mean,
It's always a risk.
it depends who's going to get a hold of it, I suppose. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of great things that they could take and read it. Actually discussing this, I like what they've been doing with the Star Wars movies. So, what's happening in between the movies. So they're introducing these movies like Solo, for example, and Star Wars Rogue. So they could do a lot of things from other movies that this is what happened in between that series. Maybe even something, I don't know, a good movie off the top of my head, or a TV show. What was happening in between those times, I don't know. But just trying to remake them, it's just not doing it for me at the time.
Yeah, I don't really care for remakes. Never have. I had a question. Your series, Rachel Strand, is that kind of a horror comic?
It's both. It's we always tout it as /horror /mystery /superhero. So there's a lot of elements that we use, and there's a lot of horror elements in there that we use, because she fights, like I said, vampires, werewolves, witch covens, demons. Then sometimes the occasional supervillain comes through.
Booger Nickels
and Earth Trolls.
The Earth Troll named Booger Nickel. I love that name.
That's an interesting name. I always liked horror comics. I mean, I read classic superhero comics too, but I liked the horror comics, like Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
And I liked the Blade comics because they were darker and grittier than your standard fare in Marvel. Haunted Tank was another creepy one. And then Carrie mentioned Sergeant Rock. That wasn't really a horror comic, but it was a fun comic.
Yeah, but they had the Weird War tales.
Weird Tales.
Yeah, that I always got. There's a few stories in there that always was quite amazing, the way they did, and just dealing with wartime. So
I would say Rachel Strand is a lot darker than the stuff we do as far as your standard superhero concepts. I mean, Tommy's a fan of the horror genre,
Yeah, he's definitely a horror fan.
Again, they created a character named Savad Det, which is kind of a fun little story. How he came up with that character. Johnny created Savad Det, which is based off of a guy he works with. Is a little bitty old guy named Ted Davis, and he just started saying his name backwards, and it's Savad Det, which the human host of Savad Det, it looks like this little guy Ted, who's he's not scary at all, but when he transforms into this vampire, he's pretty scary, and that's Savad Det. So anyway, you have to see him in there.
Yeah,
that's a cool sounding name, and it's just this guy's name backwards. That's hilarious.
That's all it is.
This is a classic.
Actually, I forgot how we did. Because he was buying a lot of our books and stuff, and he goes back and buy it. Then we thought, well, since you're doing that, we pay you for being, loyal. So we're gonna put you in a comic, and so I made a character, and I just used his name backwards, Savad Det, and I said, well, let's make him like a vampire lord or something. So I created him that he looks like a little bitty, mousy, unsuspecting guy, but in ultimate form, he turns into this big human man bat looking monster.
Yeah.
That has all these powers and is a terror in the vampire community. He's one of the elder vampires, you should say. So he's one of the first vampires that has been around. So he's very feared and very, in the darker realms, he's very respected and feared pretty much. So, and we got that, and when we tell him what we're doing with it, he just, it's all of just, wow, I'm going to be a star. And so, well, I don't know yet. But, so.
I like the character a lot. I mean, I've shown a lot of people, like a lot of my students, I'll show them the pictures of those characters, and they're like, "Oh, it's a cool character," and I tell them how to come up with the name, and that's neat.
Cryptidville's got a question. I'm not sure what a chibi is. Says, are there chibis in any of the stories? Well, I'm not sure what that is.
Is it an hors d'oeuvre?
It's the little versions of the characters.
We can always throw one in.
No, we don't have any chibis per se, but we've done chibi versions of our characters, which is the little bitty, little short cartoon versions of. I mean, we've done characters where we've been to a lot of anime cons, which is where you get the chibi.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So we've done a little version because people come. We didn't know what they were either. We were going, "Chibi, what's a chibi?" and looking it up, and okay. So we've done chibi versions of our characters, but as chibis per se, we don't have any in our books. But the demand is there, and people keep asking. It could happen. Yeah.
You never know. I mean, you never know what's going to show up in a comic book. That's the beauty of it, is because you're not limited by a big screen budget. You can basically, make every panel something that would take a huge budget to do on a TV screen.
Of course, of course. So, sorry, no chibi yet, but it could happen.
Hey, thoughts are amazing. That's why I tell if you got an idea, a concept, throw it out there. No matter how crazy it is, you never know. It'll turn into something possibly. I mean, you can do that all the time. So,
thoughts are creation's fuel.
Definitely.
Yes.
There you go.
Hey, do y'all remember when Captain America fought some German vampire creature back in?
Baron Blood.
That's Blood. The dude. I have Baron Blood. I have a couple of those at my mom and dad's house in Mississippi.
Oh,
back
awesome.
in the day. Yeah, that's old.
I think that might have been some of John Byrne's storyline.
Okay.
When you said that, I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm nerding out right now. So
that's a very, very cool story. No, when you got that, boom, all those came to me.
Man.
Baron Blood. That's a real good story, and so I need to pick that up, everybody, because it was a great story. Captain America had to kill a vampire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He used a shield.
That's like an iconic.
That was
shot.
That was rad, man. Yeah.
Right.
S. Dresden says, is anyone here familiar with Gary Wayne's take on superheroes?
No, who's Gary Wayne?
Yeah, I'm not sure myself.
I can look Gary Wayne up.
Break out the Google machine.
No kidding.
I mean, he's an author. Christian, is it the Christian Contrarian who has maintained a lifelong love affair with biblical prophecy? Or is it, maybe it's this guy. Genesis 6 Conspiracy? I'm not sure. Is he on MySpace?
That's funny.
I'll add him, but.
Folks, I'm going to take a quick minute to run a commercial, a word from our sponsor, the good folks over at Dark Angel Medical. Ironically, Doc from Dark Angel Medical. Just to let you guys know, Dark Angel makes the best kits in the business, and I'm not just saying that because Carrie's here. Carrie's my brother, but his kits were on my duty belt for more than a decade. I wouldn't trust another medical kit to keep me safe. And Steve can attest. I carried one every night on duty. I wouldn't go anywhere without one of the kits. You never know when you're going to need a medical kit, and they make kits everything from just your basic ouch pouch first aid kit all the way up to major trauma kits, vehicle kits, and anything you do these days. There's that element of danger, and if you're going to be going out in the woods poking the bear, looking for cryptids, or even just hiking, you run the risk every time you're in the backwoods of getting an injury, and the life you save could very well be your own. So
right.
Check this out, and then I'll have something else to share with you in just a second. Let me click off that.
Thank you, brother.
Message there. Anytime, sir.
And
I mean that.
And we got I appreciate it. I mean, right now we got Black Friday sale going on too. So if you use code BF, that's Bravo Foxtrot 21, that's 25% off.
All right, here's the commercial.
Everybody, this is Kerry Pocket Doc Davis from Dark Angel Medical, and you are listening to DA Ex Machina with DA Roberts. You may recognize me or some of my products from Dark Angel Medical in some of the Apex Predator, Lakeview Man, and Wild Hunt books, and you can get those products at www.darkangelmedical.com, along with training classes on how to use those products and save a life. Shoot us an email at info@darkangelmedical.com and be the difference.
And folks, Gary was good enough to set us up for here at DAX Machina with our own discount code. And I know he said they're having a Black Friday deal, but this code is good anytime. You go over to darkangelmedical.com and use the discount code Cryptid25 for 25% off. And that's for viewers of the show. So check that out. Write that down, Cryptid25, and go over to darkangelmedical.com.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, anytime. One of the best things about Dark Angel medical kits is you have the kit for life. If you ever use your kit to save a life, contact Carrie and they will restock the kit for free.
Yes, sir. Buy once, cry once.
Absolutely.
I like that.
I think it's the medical kit. There's another. I watch a lot of YouTube apparently, and active self-protection ask, but he's always talking about every police officer, everyone should have and everyone carrying should have a medical kit with them because, like you said, save a life. If you're a police officer, you had to shoot somebody. You also try to save their life. And having that kit can save that person's life or your life. I think it was a great commercial. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Love what I do.
That's good. I did kind of look up Gary Wayne, as we're talking, don't let them burn, superheroes and gods. So I guess there is I have to check that out. It's kind of neat looking. Nephilim architecture and superhero altars. Looks kind of interesting. So I'll check it out. You just do a bug out bag.
Drumming up business as we speak.
Yeah, we're trying to. What are you setting on fire, Carrie?
cigar.
Oh, okay. I heard the lighter, and then I saw smoke come up. I'm like, what are you setting on fire?
Well, I mean, I do live in Colorado, so
So that cigar's legal there.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is a Tatuaje. Good cigar.
Kerry, I got a question in the audience for you.
Yes, sir.
Hooter Transport says, what kit would you recommend for my electrician apprentice nephew?
Man, that's a great question, because those guys can, cut and conduit, all kinds of stuff like that. You can get some really nasty lacerations. Electrical injuries, not a whole lot we can do about that with that kit, but for your basic trauma, you can use get something as small as like what we call our everyday carrier EDC kit. That's a solid one. It's only literally with a tourniquet and everything. I want to say it's 10 ounces. And that's some cheap, portable, lightweight life insurance. The kit right here behind me, this is our flagship kit. That's called the DARK, or the Direct Action Response Kit. And it's got everything from, it's got a tourniquet up front, shears. It comes with chest seals, hemostatic gauze. DA's got one right there too. Chest seals, pressure bandage, a Mylar blanket, nasal airway, regular gauze, gloves, and a partridge in a pear tree. It's got a little bit of everything in there. So it's either one of those, man. But you definitely want something that's going to possibly stop major bleeds, because one of my buddies I used to work with at Magpul's, a master electrician now, and he had one of my kits, and one of the guys cut his hand really bad on some conduit because that stuff gets super sharp, and ended up having to tourniquet the guy's arm off because he ripped his radial artery open. So
That's a bad day.
That's a real bad day, So definitely make sure you have something to stop traumatic bleeds. But there you go.
Yeah, brilliant. Sure how our characters carry those. The stream's got one.
Yeah. You're good.
Save that blood for later.
Yeah.
That would be something that I think I've never seen done in a comic book before, is having heroes carry a med kit. I mean, there's all kinds of collateral damage when superheroes trash.
I like what you think.
And they got utility belts, so they needed to have something in the utility belts, especially if you like Liefeld and put all the pouches on there. So
that's it. Absolutely, man.
There you go.
I use Dark Angel kits for my characters in my books all the time, because I carried one as a cop. I mean, I can't give it any better endorsement than the fact that I trusted my life to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and interesting story how DA and I met. I was reading the Ragnarok series years back, and I started my company, and I was like, "Hey, your guys need some med kits, I believe." And so me and him hit it off and started talking, and that's how the bromance began. And but Hooter Transport said, "How long to ship?" Right now, man, we're trying to keep up with all of our orders, because it's just me and one other guy in the shop. It's not a big shop, and we're trying to get everything out within 3 to 5 business days. So as long as you order it in enough time, because obviously we have to deal with vendor supplies issues, and that has trickle-down effect on everything else. So we're getting out as quick as we can. And then Mark Napier, blood should stay on the inside. That's science. I actually have a T-shirt, and I've trademarked "Blood belongs in the body. It's science." So you are absolutely correct, Mark.
You're not planning on suing him. Mark, don't worry.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
I have that T-shirt.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you were in that last podcast.
I love that T-shirt.
Yeah,
Doc and Steve are my go-to guys. Steve for like clinical stuff, and Doc for pure trauma. If I get a character shot up in a book, I'll text him. I'm like, "All right, this is what he did. How do I save him?" I do that all the time. Like, walk me through how to keep this guy alive.
And he was like, "Is this survival?" I'm like, "Nope, he's screwed."
Oh, crap! I gotta rewrite this scene now.
Damn it.
For fans of the series who haven't been on our podcast before, of course, the fictionalized version of Pocket Doc, appears in Apex Predator as well as Codename Wild Hunt. So
Mhm.
some pretty memorable scenes there. Yeah,
Wow.
inspired by the real Pocket Doc.
With a damn Wendigo, tearing my snowmobile up. Son of a bitch.
Mondoc 40 and Research has a question for you, Doc. Says he's on your website. What do the levels mean?
As in civilian law enforcement. Okay, so that's just what kind of hemostatic gauze comes in the kit, man. The mil spec, the only addition to that would be a chest decompression needle and a casualty documentation tool, and we have that placed in there that's part of tactical combat casualty care standards for our guys. As they're injured, they pull their casualty card out and document that at the first echelon. So when they get to a second echelon, like a hospital, they know where, what has been done, when it was been done, things like that. Everything else is just related to the type of hemostatic gauze. Everything else is just the same.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I wasn't aware until I was playing with it in the urgent care the other day. I didn't realize how bad hemostatic gauze burns when you use it.
It stings a little bit, yeah. I mean, there's no heat. There's no heat. But it's like it's like Satan spitting right on your wound. I mean, it's
Oh wow.
it's not comfortable. Here, it's like, remember that old crap? Okay, I'm gonna date myself. Y'all remember the old crap your mama used to use on you? We'd skin your knees at methylate.
Methylate? Oh my god.
Methylate, yeah.
God,
Oh god, yeah, I hated that stuff.
Man, it's kind of like that. Freaking napalm on your wound, man.
This is pure iodine.
Here, just let me bleed. Just let me bleed. I'll deal with it. I'll take my chance with the infection versus worry about that. I mean, we hid so many injuries as kids, because you're like, man, she's gonna put that shit on my hand. It's gonna burn me. I'll take my hand's about to fall off, but I'll stay away from the methylate.
Get some scotch tape. All right.
give me some duct tape, man. I'll be good. I'm good.
It's like,
hey man, you can fix anything with redneck repair tape.
Yeah. It's wondering to get mercury poison from that crap, man, because it had mercury.
Yeah. Well, and the bromine, it's brominated mercury. I'm like, shit's toxic.
Which they also have in Mountain
I'm
Dew,
shocked that I survived then, because I've used that for band-aids in the field many times.
Man.
Oh wow.
Man.
Slap a piece of gauze on it, wrap it in duct tape, and keep moving.
Yep, mercurochrome. That was it. Yeah, you're superheroes, man. You're superheroes. They could use a good med kit and some mercurochrome for the criminals.
Yeah.
When I was in the army, a buddy of mine.
Sounds like a super villain name.
Sounds like a band too.
Mercurochrome. When I was in the army, a buddy of mine cut his leg pretty deep on a piece of concertina wire, and we were in the butt crack of nowhere. And we're like, "There's no way we're going to get you back. We'll get you transport to a hospital to get that stitched up anytime soon." And he looks at me and goes, "Rob, you still got your sewing kit in your bag?" I'm like, "Yeah, what do you think I'm going to do with it?" He goes, "Stitch that damn thing up." And I did. It wasn't pretty, but I stitched it up.
Oh man.
And that tough son of a gun just sat there gritting his teeth every time I stick that needle through. And it was just a sewing kit for putting buttons back on.
Man.
Oh my.
Oh God.
Wow.
That in his future.
Yeah.
Oh, I covered it with triple antibiotic cream and then wrapped it up. But
that's hygienic.
Yeah, it was very hygienic. And then, like 3 weeks later, when I was in the barracks, he walks up to me with a pair of tweezers and a set of fingernail clippers. And goes, "All right, take them out." I'm like, "Okay."
Man,
you realize I am not a medic.
I thought you were going to ask me to fix his mittens or something. You get so good on my leg. How about my mittens?
I can put a button back on, but I'm not trusting my skills to stitch somebody back up.
I'm waiting for that infection to show up in front of Doc's cot there. It's like, oh, that infection's a whole different kind of critter.
I don't have the right kind of antibiotics for that one, buddy.
You're gonna need to see an actual doctor for that one.
Now, why's your nose on the side of your face, Roberts? Roberts did it.
Hey man, super glue and duct tape.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
You know,
The motto around
We,
here is if it moves and it's not supposed to, use duct tape. If it doesn't move and it's supposed to, use WD-40.
That's right.
That's redneck repairs right there.
Redneck toolbox, man.
And I keep both on hand.
Heck yeah.
mhm.
You know, duct tape. That's my favorite kind of foul. You know, couldn't live without those types of birds.
Well, I'm telling you, when they started making duct tape in other colors, I was like a kid in a candy store. Like,
They have
it's in
camo.
black. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Now
but
everything doesn't look
kids were
silver
wrapping
when
their-
they tape it up.
They were wrapping their books, you know, wrapping everything in duct tape. They were doing, what were they doing? They were even like drumsticks. I mean, you name it, they're all everything in duct tape colors.
My wife's little sister bought one of those books on how to make all kinds of weird crap out of duct tape. She can make wallets and purses and all kinds of stuff. She made me a wallet. I've still got it. I didn't want to carry it because I figured it'd come apart in my pocket. But she made it. I've still got it. She made it out of camouflage duct tape.
Oh my.
Yeah, they were making
Duct tape origami.
There you go.
duct tape helmet covers.
Yeah.
Crushing me.
Oh mercy.
Oh Lord,
Yeah,
Well, boys,
we went
we're
off the rails a little early this time.
Yeah, we
usually
we
the 3 hour
deviated.
mark is where we go completely off the rails.
Yeah, we deviated quick tonight, man.
Oh, well, it could be Johnny's fault.
It's just about the time that Doc lights up.
Maybe did he light something up before that stogie there? Or is,
Oh no.
No.
oh, okay.
Do not partake.
Just being able to play with the speed tape. I got a jet home.
No, he usually gets philosophical about the time the cigar gets toasted. You know.
The cigar's toasted, and so am I. But
There you go.
lightly toasted.
yeah, that's the best freaking tape right there, DA. You remember that?
100-mile-an-hour tape.
I still got this from my time at Fort Bragg, brother. This tape's over 20 years old. It still sticks.
Wow.
Oh,
So,
You,
yeah.
you can't find that in the civilian world. It's hard to
Nope.
find. It's made for the military. It's like the military version of duct tape. We call it 100
High
mile an hour
tape.
tape. That
Yeah.
stuff will hold anything. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
got
well.
super glue in it or what, but
Yeah, that stuff's freaking awesome. My son's in
Stuff you repair airplanes with, right?
yeah, he's in 3rd Ranger Battalion down at Benning right now. And I said, dude, get me some 100-mile-an-hour tape. I need that. So that's gonna be my Christmas gift from him this year. 100-mile-an-hour tape.
giving 100-mile-an-hour
Hell
tape.
yeah,
Well, if it gives you more than one, hook me up.
I got you.
Yeah, that stuff was good for everything from holding the straps down on your LBE to keeping
Yes.
a deuce and a half hood from flying up while driving down the highway.
Absolutely.
yeah.
We
Absolutely,
taped
man.
one down one time because the spring handles busted, and we were afraid it was going to blow back up on the windshield as we were driving down the highway. So we just taped that bitch down, hopped in, and took off.
You said deuce and a half. I had one of those before I left the house for this interview.
Stop.
I said deuce and a half.
Oh my God.
Good God.
Wait, I wasn't sure. I zoned out.
It's getting late.
Hey,
And I don't smoke anything. I promise.
a truck, not a poo.
Oh, yeah. I feel like a truck coming out there right now.
Felt like a 2.5 ton truck, huh?
At a stop sign, but it didn't stop. I'm telling you what.
You hear the backup alarm.
It was squealing. I mean, it was one big long beat. But
Felt like you got
Thanksgiving,
rear ended.
Left the bathroom 10 pounds lighter.
yeah, you can call it that.
Y'all might want to light a match.
What's how much is the real deuce and a half weigh? Light a match. I had to light dynamite. The acne kind. That worked really well.
It's sad that we're all middle-aged men laughing at poop humor.
Hey, fart jokes are the
We're all-
best.
We're all 12 years old again.
Yeah, I'll tell you, my students at my school, I mean, look, when they're gone, they use the bathroom, right? I don't know what they're doing. They usually come back smelling different, but it's not like poop. I'm like, what, you have the Hershey squirts? And they're like, so now all the kids are saying, you get the Hershey squirts? It's like, well, these are high schoolers too, so it's kind of fun because they get really, but yeah, poo. I love Blazing Saddles where they're eating beans,
the fart scene.
I think y'all had about enough damn beans.
Longo had the best.
Yeah, I think my favorite line out of Blazing Saddles was when they were riding up to the toll booth. It was like, somebody go back to camp and get a whole shitload of dimes.
Hey, Mel Brooks did it right, man.
That movie could not be remade today. There would be too many hurt feelings
No.
over it, man. People got.
But I still laugh at it.
Lord have mercy. Look at this hand. That's steady as a rock. Yeah, but this is my shooting hand.
I had an officer I used to work with. I started calling him Mongo. And finally one day he's like, why do you call me Mongo? And I said, because of Blazing Saddles. He's like, what's that? I'm like, okay, your assignment. He was a rookie. I'm like, your assignment this weekend is to go home and watch Blazing Saddles. And he comes back on Monday and he's like, you're an asshole. You know that? Like it's been said before. Yeah, candy grab from Mongo.
Yeah.
Mongo like candy.
Lord.
A lot of people don't realize that was a professional football player too.
Yeah. What was his name? Alex Karras? Was that his name?
Yeah.
Alex Harris,
Yeah,
because
he's a big dude.
He was on Webster.
Yeah, he was the dad on Webster later on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
It always cracks me up when professional football players try to become actors. I mean, look what happened when Brian Bosworth tried it.
Hey,
Oh,
I love the
Those
debut
movies were
movie.
pretty bad.
well, I think the only one that was really good was the one that played Sloth in the Goonies. So he didn't like to have much acting skill in that.
Lyle Alzado, yeah.
Yeah, Baby Ruth. So, yeah, that's pretty much.
I love Baby Ruth.
Oh yeah, Hunter, Fred Dreyer.
Yeah, I forgot about Hunter. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, Fred Dreyer.
And for the Rams.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah,
O.J. Simpson, an airplane. There you go.
Oh, Baker Mayfield's about to, start doing. He's pretty funny on his commercials. I can imagine he'd probably end up in the show at some point. But yeah, O.J. Simpson.
I always liked the old light beer commercials with Bubba Smith and what was the other guy?
Bob Uecker?
No.
Was it Deacon Jones or something like that?
When they did the light beer from Miller commercials, and the one they came in from playing golf, like, we've been out there trying to hit birdies all day, and Bubba Smith goes, yeah, and those things move really fast. See them out there swinging at birds.
Oh man,
Mercy.
You about ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, we probably should wrap it up.
Yeah.
I was like, it's 11 o'clock. I'm like, get online, watch me. I'm there. Come on. You're sitting around doing nothing.
Johnny, Aaron, I appreciate you guys coming on the show. It's been a great
You
time.
guys are great.
Thank you for doing that drawing for the giveaway. That was awesome.
No problem.
Sal, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
if I
was-
could have found some in the trash can, that could have been a bonus picture, but he didn't have anything.
Might have to have you do some of my characters from my book sometime. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I know that you was trying to get me that one time to
Mhm.
do one of the books, I think.
Yeah, was talking to you about the doing the Ragnarok Rising books as graphic novels, and I would still love to do that if you guys ever had time.
Yeah.
I think those would be a great vehicle for a graphic novel.
Well, I will add too. I forgot about this. There is a guy that is local that's finally he secured about $2 million, and he's got a vampire story that he's got, and he wants us to do a comic book version of that once he gets that movie going too. So
That would be awesome.
Yeah, he's
be
been
cool.
talking about that. So I just now the starts on that one too, by the way. So yeah.
Well, again, I appreciate you guys coming on. Steve, brother, thanks for helping out. Doc, you're always an awesome time. Love having you on.
Thanks,
Love hanging
brother.
out with you guys. And that's one thing I love about doing this show is it's never really like doing a formal interview. It's always just like a group of friends hanging out talking. And especially when we digress into poo jokes, because that was kind of inevitable.
Hey,
Par for the course.
Our inner 12-year-olds were released tonight, folks.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, not a problem at all.
Okay,
It
good.
was-
I might
it was-
do it again next time.
Oh, we had a last-minute question. I guess this is for everybody. S. Dresden says, favorite superhero of all time? We'll hit that one before we sign out.
Okay.
Spider-Man for me.
Wolverine, because my son actually is named Logan. So
That's awesome.
and
Doc,
my daughter
that's great.
Jade. My daughter Jade's the daughter of Green Lantern, so my daughter Jade, and then my youngest daughter is Kaylee Storm. So I can get my wife to change her name to the Marvel Wonder Woman. She wouldn't go with that.
Wow.
That's
So
awesome.
Wolverine.
Doc, who's your favorite?
Spider-Man.
Good
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Steve,
Oh, the Flash, hands down.
The Flash.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of a toss-up. It's either Moon Knight or the early days of the Punisher. One of those two. I can't really. It's just tough to pick between those two.
You know, honestly, I can't believe nobody mentioned Looney Man. You still got time. Captain America. Gugby. That's fine.
Yeah, he said. Mark Napier says a Gugway, which is a type of Bigfoot. Biting someone's face off would be a great graphic novel. I don't think I've got a picture of a Gugway still.
It would be graphic, that's for sure.
Yeah, it'd be very graphic.
Yeah, it would.
I thought I had one actually that I drew once. It may not be in this book. I was looking up all kinds of cryptid characters and stuff.
There you go.
Man.
Folks, you remember you can check out all of Equinox Comics over at Indie Planet. Just look for Equinox Comics on Indie Planet. I think it's indieplanet.tv or indieplanet.com. I don't remember, but just Google Indie Planet, go there and search Equinox Comics. You'll find all their stuff there. You can follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/equinox.comics.5. And as always, you can go to Dark Angel Medical and use the discount code Cryptid25 for 25% off. And if you want to get a hold of the show for any reason, you can email us at daroberts@daroberts.net, or you can reach us by mail at P.O. Box 4614, Springfield, Missouri 65808-4614. And again, I want to thank everybody for being with us tonight. We had some great comments out of the chat room tonight.
Yes.
A lot of great questions, and absolutely enjoyed having you guys here from Equinox. Johnny, Aaron, you guys are awesome. You're welcome back anytime. I would love to have you guys back to anytime. But if you guys have got a new book coming out or want to do a promo or anything like that, just hit me up. I would love to have you guys back. I love talking comics with you guys, and your artwork is amazing, Johnny. You are awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Aaron, I'm a big fan of yours too. I'm going to be ordering
Why?
some comics. I like your art.
I'm a
Your
dumpster
artwork.
diver.
But I appreciate you guys so much for coming on. I appreciate everybody in the chat room. Thank you all for being here. I hope you guys have an amazing night. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Right.
Thank you for joining us tonight on DAX Machina. If you ever have an encounter of your own that you wish to discuss, contact us at daroberts@daroberts.net. You can remain completely anonymous if you wish. Pull your covers up tight and keep a nightlight burning bright. Oh, and did you forget to lock your doors?